This is Beverly Hills. And here come the Beverly Hillbillies.
Come on, let's find that house we bought.
House they bought? In Beverly Hills? Whoa, wait a minute, hold it. How could a bunch of hillbillies possibly buy a mansion like this? Let's take them back to their home and see how this whole thing started.
Jed, you gotta do something about that young'un of yourn.
How'd that happen?
Fighting with a bobcat.
Get hurt?
I reckon so. It went limping off on 3 legs.
I swear I don't know what I'm gonna do about that girl.
Well, the first thing to do is to get her into a dress. She's getting too big to be wearing man's duds. Looky here. She's done popped the buttons off of her shirt again.
Well, Elly May carries herself proud, with her shoulders throwed back.
It ain't her shoulders that's popping these buttons. Fully growed up, rounded out, female woman. Time she started acting like one.
Well, one of these days, some boy will come along and start courting her.
They came courting when she was 12. What did she do?
She whopped the tar out of them.
Well, it ain't fitting. Girl running around as wild as a cougar, wrestling, fighting, and hunting. She ought to be doing woman's work. Helping me with the steel.
Yeah, real? I'll speak to her.
Oh, that reminds me. Better go down and stomp out the fire under that mess.
Hold on now, Granny. You ain't gonna stomp out no fire like that, are you?
Huh? Oh, of course not. Don't want to burn my shoes.
Huh? Granny! Somebody open the door! Howdy, Pa.
What you got there?
Stranger?
Where'd you get him?
I beat him with a rock.
What for?
He was skulking around down by the slough. Figured he might be a revenuer.
He ain't no revenuer.
Then can I keep him?
Of course not.
Well, I caught him.
Don't matter.
Well, he won't be no trouble. I could keep him out in the smokehouse.
Elly May, you can't keep people like they were dogs and cats.
Ooh, 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 ow, ooh, that hurts. Who's that?
Some feller Elly found nosing around.
Beat him with a rock so it'd be easier to tote.
Here, fellas from the petroleum company.
What's a petroleum?
I don't know. He asked me if he could do some wildcatting down by the slough. I said, help yourself. We're glad to get rid of the critters.
What'd he say?
Just kind of laughed. But the laugh's on him. There ain't no wildcats down there at that slough.
No, it's too full of oil.
Oh, what happened? Where am I?
This here is the Clampett place. I'm Jed Clampett, my young'un Elly May, and Granny. Granny says you've been doing some wildcatting.
There's no need to. Mr. Clampett, that swamp of yours is full of oil.
I could have told you that.
Well, my company would like to pump it out.
Yeah, I like that too, but I just can't afford to have it done.
No, you don't understand. You see, you wouldn't have to pay for it.
Oh, I don't take favors from strangers.
No, Mr. Clampett, you see, you're a very rich man.
How big a rock did you bean him with?
No bigger than a hedge apple.
Listen, I've got to call my office in Tulsa. Have you got a telephone?
A what?
A telephone? Or maybe one of your neighbors has one. It's well, down in this country, it's probably a box attached to the wall. And you talk into it, and they can hear you in Tulsa.
Maybe you better sit down for a spell.
No, I haven't time. Listen, where's the nearest airfield?
Airfield?
You know, Granny, that's one of them there fields sets up in the air.
Oh, never mind. I'll find it myself. Listen, now don't you sell that swamp till you hear from me. I'm flying to Tulsa.
Now he thinks he's got wings.
Morning, Granny.
Watch them buttons, child.
Granny! Them pigs of yours got into the corn.
Did they drink much?
I reckon they did. This here little fella was kicking blue blazes out of the mule.
That's the trouble with razorbacks. They such a mean drunk. Yeah, this wouldn't happen if you'd stay in the house where you belong.
There it is, Mr. Brewster. On the tests and surveys, I'd say that's going to be one of the richest pools since East Texas.
News like this is bound to get out. Let's go down and get Clampett's name on a deal.
Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Oh, there.
What's the matter?
You want to see what just flew over Blueberry Ridge? What? The dad-blamed biggest bird you ever laid eyes on.
Probably just an overrode chicken hawk.
Chicken hawk, nothing. That thing could make off with a hog. Hurry up, put that gun together.
No room to land near the cabin, Mr. Brewster. It's too rocky and hilly. Then let's get the sling ready to be lowered.
Well, Mr. Brewster, that might be dangerous.
Hang the danger. We're going to be the first oil company down there if it kills you.
Me?
Don't worry. If it's safe, I'll follow you.
Granny, I see it. There it is.
Land of mercy, look at that.
What you doing, Granny?
That thing's only got one claw, but danged if it ain't grabbed up a man.
Hurry, Pa, it's my stranger.
Where is it?
Just flew over the house. I'll get it on t'other side.
You kill it, Granny?
No, but I made it drop that stranger.
Jethro! Stop this thing! Stop it!
Granny! Granny!
Yes, Jed?
Granny, grab a hold of something and hang on. Cousin Pearl and that overgrown son of hers is headed right for the cabin in that old truck.
Heaven protect us. Did they hit us, Jed?
No, but I think they sure want the chicken house.
Oh, Jed, I'm sure sorry about the chicken house, but nobody got hurt.
Jethro, I told you to get rid of them worn-out brakes.
I did, Ma. That's how come we ain't got none.
Get on out and lift the chicken house back on its foundation.
Jed?
Yeah.
Jed, Elly May came running over to my place, and she said you sold the swamp to some oil company.
Well, yeah, I guess I did.
What did they pay you for it?
Well, he ain't paid me nothing yet. The Brewster fella said he'd bring the money later.
How much they going to pay you?
Well, he said I'd depend some on how much oil they could pump out.
Well, he must have mentioned some figure. What was it?
Now, Pearl, you know that old swamp weren't worth shucks.
Jed Clampett, you got slicker than you're ashamed to admit it.
That's just what I told you.
Granny, how much they gonna pay him?
All right, I'll tell you. He said it runs somewhere between 25 and 100.
25 and 100?
I know it don't sound like much, but Mr. Brewster seems to set great store by the fact he's going to pay me in some new kind of dollar.
There ain't no new kind of dollar.
Well, it's new to me. I've heard of gold dollars, silver dollars, paper dollars, but he says he's going to pay me in, what do you call them, Granny?
$1 million.
Yeah, that's it.
$1 million?
He wrote the whole thing out on this piece of paper. Here, you can see for yourself. I don't know nothing about that kind of stuff.
Let's see here now. Thanks in heaven. Granny, give me the jug.
It's empty, but I'll fetch some.
I'll go, Granny.
Jed, you're a millionaire. A millionaire.
Yeah, that's what that Brewster fella kept calling me. I didn't know just how to take it.
He meant you're rich.
Me?
The richest man in these hills. Maybe in the whole state. Oh, Jed, you can have anything you want. Do anything you want. Go any place you want.
Yeah, that's another thing he kept saying. He said he reckoned I'd be moving away from here soon. What do you think, Pearl? You think I ought to move?
Jed, how can you even ask? Look around you. You're 8 miles from your nearest neighbor. You're overrun with skunks, possums, coyotes, bobcats. You use kerosene lamps for light. You cook on a wood stove, summer and winter. You're drinking homemade moonshine, washing with homemade lye soap. And your bathroom is 50 feet from the house, and you ask, should you move?
Yeah, I reckon you're right. Man, be a dang fool to leave all this.
Oh, there you are, Jed. You misunderstood me. I meant you should move away. And you know where I'd go if I was you?
Where?
California.
California?
Yes, sir. Beverly Hills, California. Jed, remember the time that your pa took us to Eureka Springs to see the movie picture?
Yeah.
Well, the actors that make them movie pictures live in Beverly Hills.
Go on.
Yes, sir.
Well, doggy. Ain't that be something? Living in the same neck of the woods with old town me.
It sure would. And we could come visit you. You know what else they say about California?
What?
It don't get cold out there.
What don't get cold out there?
Nothing don't get cold out there. They don't have no snow or no ice.
Can't they bring some in?
They don't want it. That's why'd be so good for Granny. Remember last winter when she slipped on the ice and broke her hip?
Yeah, poor old woman. She was limping for 2 days.
Well, that couldn't happen in California because they don't have no ice.
How come?
I don't know how come. But Granny'd sure like it, and we could visit you. You know what else they say about California?
Maybe Jethro know how come there's no ice. He's going to school.
We could ask him. Jethro!
Yeah, Ma.
Come on over here. Speaking of school, Elly May could get herself a fine education out there in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, Ma?
Your rich uncle's got a question he'd like to ask you.
What rich uncle, Ma?
Your rich Uncle Jed.
Jethro, how come there's no ice in California?
Don't look at me. I didn't take it.
You big dumb.
Well, I didn't, Ma.
Oh, get out of here.
Well, you always... I didn't mean to.
I was saying, Jed, folks claim California's got it all beat. Why, things grow twice as big out there.
Jethro would be a whopper, wouldn't he?
He could help you move. He's awful handy at lifting and toting, and he could drive you out in my truck.
I tell you what, Pearl. I'm going to have to study on this. When that Brewster fella comes back, I'll ask him what he thinks.
Well, your cousin is right about that, Mr. Clampett. Beverly Hills is a choice residential area, and lots of millionaires do settle there.
Folks like me, huh?
Well, millionaires.
And movie stars, too.
Oh, yes, yes.
Is Tom Mix there?
No, I'm afraid Mr. Mix is dead.
Oh? Oh, yeah. What's the matter with me? Remember, Pearl, he got shot at the end of that picture.
Well, there are plenty other movie stars, and that's where Jed wants to live. Ain't it, Jed?
I do like the notion of living in the hills. Never could stand flat country.
Mr. Clampett, I think it only fair. That is, well, I think you may have a wrong idea about Beverly Hills.
Is that where you live?
No, my home is in Tulsa.
Well, say, maybe you could get us a place there in your neighborhood.
Mr. Clampett, let's not beat around the bush. You will love Beverly Hills.
Then that's it. Can you steer Jed onto a good place?
No, I can get the bank out there to handle it for him.
He'd like a nice big place with plenty of room for his kinfolk to visit him.
I would like a nice, roomy place if I could afford it.
Oh, Mr. Clampett, with your money, you can afford the Taj Mahal.
Okay, I'll take it.
Well, no, you see, I was just making a little joke.
Oh, well, go right ahead.
Well, you see, the Taj Mahal is in India.
Mr. Brewster, you're a nice fella, but I've heard better jokes.
Is the foreigner staying to supper?
I'm ashamed to say I ain't asked him. How about it?
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, no trouble. What you cooking tonight, Granny?
Mustard greens and possum innards.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that, Mr. Brewster?
Very clearly.
Want to change your mind?
Not this time.
Well, if you should happen to come back tomorrow, we'll be having leftovers. That's the thing about possum innards. He's just as good the second day. Ellie, if old Duke sits there with you, there ain't gonna be room for Granny.
Oh, that's all right, Paul. Granny ain't gone.
Who says she ain't?
She says she ain't.
That's right, Uncle Jed. She's a sitting on the back porch in her rocker, and she says that's as close to California as you're gonna get her.
We'll see about that. Dang if I ain't got me the muliest women folk. We ain't never gonna get there. Now, what's all this nonsense about you ain't going to California?
Ain't no nonsense to it. If the good Lord had wanted me in California, he'd have put me in California.
Maybe he's just getting around to it. The book says he moves in mysterious ways.
Well, if he moves me, I'll go. But you and Big Jethro ain't a budging me.
Granny, this here Beverly Hills sounds like the kind of place you'd like. That Brewster fella says they got smogs out there.
What's a smog?
Well, me and Jethro figured out that's a small hog. And you heard what Pearl said. It ain't got no snow out there. You could run your still the year round.
Run it the year round here.
Yeah, but walking down through the snow to the still always makes you feel so miserable.
I might feel miserable walking down, but the way I feels coming back makes up for it.
Hey, damn it, Granny. We've been planning and talking about this trip for days. You never said you wouldn't go.
Never said I wouldn't either.
But that Brewster feller has bought us a house in them Beverly Hills. He sent our $25 million to the bank out there.
Well, you just chase on out after it. I'm staying right here. And I ain't afeared neither.
Granny, I ain't leaving you here alone.
And I ain't a budging out of this rocker.
does that sign say?
It says Beverly Hills.
You hear that, Granny? We're there.
They call them hills? Why, we got moles that can push up higher ridges than that.
Well, leastways, it's hills. We'll be among our kind of folks.
This deposit of $25 million to the account of J.D. Clampett.
J.D.?
As in Rockefeller. Elevates us to third position in capital assets and assures our bank of... Come in.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Drysdale.
All right, Taylor. Well, are we all set to give the Clampetts a red carpet reception?
Well, I'm afraid Mrs. Drysdale still isn't too happy, sir.
Yes, I know. Oh, my wife is very upset that I got the estate next to ours for the Clampetts. Says I don't even know what kind of people they are.
Do you?
I know to the dollar what kind of people they are. They're my kind of people. Loaded. Taylor, have the gardeners got the grounds in order?
Yes, sir. But I'm afraid that's another thing your wife is upset about.
Oh?
Well, you see, your gardeners have been working on their lawn all week. Why, they've mowed it, trimmed it, fed it, clipped it.
I don't care if they lather it and shave it. This is the most beautiful mansion in Beverly Hills. I want every square inch of ground within those walls in apple pie... Oh. Yes? Oh, hello, Margaret. No, dear, I'm very What? Oh, good heavens, did you call the police? I'll be right there.
What happened?
The Clampett estate is being invaded by a band of outlaws.
Invaded?
Yes, they're holding the gardeners at gunpoint.
Sure is lucky we come along we did.
That's the truth. The way they were slipping through that gate, another 5 minutes and that whole darn prison would have been empty. Jethro, you sure that's a prison?
Yeah, Uncle Jed. I seen pictures. Only thing is, how come there ain't no guards on them walls?
Probably done them in with them knives and things.
These killers if I ever did see any. Fine neighborhood we's moving into.
You hear that? Hot diggity, there's bobcats in these hills.
I'm sorry. Somebody's calling the law.
I reckon they's gonna be mighty grateful for what we done. Folks out here has got a strange way of showing they're grateful.
You've locked up one of the richest men in the country. Mr. Clampett, I don't know how to apologize. I'm deeply humiliated. What have you cutthroats done with J.D. Clampett?
I'm Jed Clampett, and I'd appreciate it if you let go of my Sunday shirt.
You're J.D. Clampett, the oil millionaire?
Yep, this here's my nephew, Jethro.
Howdy. Quickly, man, unlock this cell. Mr. Clampett, on behalf of the entire city of Beverly Hills, I extend our deep and humble apologies for this unfortunate and embarrassing incident. Oh, I'm Milburn Drysdale, president of the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills. My car is waiting to take you and your family to your new home. We want you to know how happy we are to have you, your handsome nephew, your lovely daughter, and your beautiful money. Mother.
Wait a minute! Stop this car! Mr. Drysdale, you tricked us. You just took us out of jail so you could bring us back up here to prison. Head for the hills, everybody! Oh, wait! Come back! It's not a prison, it's your home!
Now, wait! Mr. Clampett, listen to me! Wait! Come back! Friendly!
Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Come along and visit with the Clampett family as they take you to their mansion in the hills of Beverly. And when they do, you'll run into a friend of theirs you've met, that good old friend with filter blend, Winston cigarette. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Howdy. Well, now, ain't that handy?
That, Pa?
Way the road takes a bend in here, runs right by the front door.
No, Mr. Clampett, this is your driveway. It goes with the house.
Is this thing a highway?
Oh, yes, indeed. It was built by John Barrymore, one of our finest actors.
Pretty fair stonemason, too.
Hey, Jed! This here is dandy soil.
Fine, Granny. We'll commence plowing tomorrow.
But this is Beverly Hill.
Dirt is dirt.
Yes, I know, but why don't we look around inside, eh? Well, here we are. I hope you're going to like this place I picked out for you. It may be a trifle larger than what you're used to, but I feel a man with $25 million in my bank should live in a manner that... Come in, this is your home. As I say, it may be a bit more than you're used to, but I'm sure you'll be comfortable. Now, my secretary will be over right away to help you with the hiring of servants or whatever problems you may have. She's a very efficient girl, Miss Hathaway.
Jed? Jed? You and Jethro fetch in my stove so I can get some victuals to cook in?
Oh, you have a beautiful stove.
Thank you. Fetch it in, Jed. You scare up some wood, Elly.
No, I mean you have a stove already installed in the kitchen.
Where's that?
I'll show you. Excuse us.
Elly, you go with Granny. She'll still need you to fetch some wood.
Sure, Pa.
Uncle Jed, guess what? There's a whole nother house up here.
Jethro, come down from there. Like as not that belongs to somebody else.
Darn. This is your kitchen. Oh, and here's the stove. The last word in food preparation. And speaking of food, you'll find everything you could possibly want stored right in here. See? Well, I'll leave you ladies to your culinary delights. Au revoir. Bon appetit.
Talks gibberish.
You seem to set a great deal of store in this here stove, Granny.
Well, we'll see. Elly, you run out and fetch some wood. I'll get a fire to going in here and we'll see.
Jethro, I hope it's all right for you to be missing school.
Oh, sure, Uncle Jed. They ain't strict in the 5th grade.
You're in the 5th grade already?
Starting this year.
Yeah, it don't seem like no time at all since I went with your ma to get you started in the 1st grade. You was 6 years old. No bigger than that. We drove clean over to Oxford. So you could go to the same school your pa went to.
You wouldn't know that town today, Uncle Jed.
Oxford?
Yes, sir. Well, that town has growed and spread out and built up and just kept getting bigger and bigger. Where today, why, I bet you there must be at least 3 or 4 dozen people living there.
A place like that's all right to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Can I be of any assistance?
No, thank you, Mr. Drysdale. We were just talking about Jethro here getting back to school.
Oh, well, we have some excellent educational facilities out here, Mr. Clampett. Where do you go to school, Jethro?
Oxford.
Yeah, you see, Jethro's ma, that's my cousin Pearl. She married an Oxford man, so naturally Jethro, he goes to school there, too.
I'm the champion crawdad eater.
At Oxford?
Jethro put away 3 buckets of crawdads.
4.
And he's learned to cipher and everything. Cipher some for Mr. Drysdale.
1 and 1's 2. 2 and 2's 4. 4 and 4's 8. I have to take off my shoes to get any further than that.
Never mind. I'm sure we're thinking of 2 different Oxfords. You see, there's one that's very, very famous and very old.
That's where Jethro goes to school. Been there since pioneer days.
That's how come it got its name. It's where the oxen used to ford the river.
So folks took to calling it Oxen Ford, and later on it got shortened to Oxford.
Yes, I see. Well, I'll be running. Oh, by the way, here are your keys. My secretary should be over very soon.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Drysdale, for everything you've been doing for us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Mr. Clampett. You see, I'm not only your banker, I'm your next-door neighbor.
Well, say, now ain't that nice? Well, now, why don't you bring your missus over tonight for supper, and I'll have Granny womp up a mess of grits and hog jowl.
Well, you see, right now my wife is in Boston.
Well, that's too bad. When'll she be back?
Not too soon, fortunately. I'll see you later.
Well, thank you, Mr. Drysdale.
So long. Uncle Jed, you reckon one of these days I can have me a little bitty old taste of Granny's moonshine?
Now, Jethro, you know the family rule about Granny's moonshine? You get your first taste on your wedding day and not before.
Well, Uncle Jed, that might be an awful long time. I ain't even got me no sweetheart.
How come?
Why, back home, every time I get me a girl, one of them there big fellas would take her right away from me.
Maybe out here in Beverly Hills.
Paul, could I please have the axe? I gotta split some wood for Granny.
Fetch it, Jethro. Ain't this place got a wood pile?
Not that I can find. But I found a whole row of black old dead tree trunks, pretty near as high as this house.
Are they kind of big for you to tackle?
Well, shucks, no, Paul. They're only this big around, and all trimmed and topped and strung together with the black rope, so as no matter which one you cut, the others keep it from falling.
Somebody had a right smart idea there. Just the same, I think I'd rather have Jethro do the cutting.
Oh, Paul, let me.
Ah, cutting trees and chopping logs ain't no work for a girl.
I'm just as strong as Jethro.
You ain't neither.
I am so.
You ain't neither.
I am so, too. You want to wrestle?
Darn too.
Now, here. That ain't no fair fight. Somebody gonna get hurt. Now, yeah, you see, you're getting too rough. Jethro. A person can get crippled from a hole like that. Get up from there.
I can't, Uncle Jed.
You turn him loose and get up from there before I take a strap to the boot. Now, here, you get out there and chop down one of them tree trunks and saw Granny some nice logs.
Yes, sir, Uncle Jed. Could have whooped you if you hadn't tripped me.
Elly, come back here and sit down. I want to talk to you.
Whooped him fair and square, and I'll do it again.
You won't. That's what I want to talk to you about. Elly May, you're getting too big to wrestle with boys.
I'm as big as Jethro.
I don't mean big that way. I mean, growed up. You're a young lady now. You gotta start minding your manners and fixing yourself up real nice and wearing dresses.
Paul, folks would call me a sissy.
Well, it ain't sissy for girls to act like girls. You see, Elly, I raised you like a boy, and I was wrong to do it. I reckon every man liked to have a son, and you was my only young'un. And when your ma passed away, I just decided to turn you into a boy.
By the time Granny come to help out, you was too wild to tame. By thunder, you could outrun, outclimb, outfight, and outshoot every boy in them hills.
Still can, Pa.
Yeah, but it ain't fitting. It ain't right for folks to go against nature. Now look at old Duke there. Reckon we could turn him into a cat?
Course not.
That's right. Because nature made him into a dog. The same way nature made you into a girl. Here lately, she's getting more and more positive about it.
You mean my ears is growing?
No, nothing like that. You're pretty.
Oh, Pa.
I know you don't like it when I say that, but you like it when the young fellas around here come in saying it, and they will. Only they'll probably be using words, fancy words I won't even understand. But Elly May, ain't nobody can ever tell you how pretty you really are except me. You're the living picture of your mom.
You still here? I thought you were going up to the Clampett estate.
I didn't think it prudent for us both to be absent simultaneously. In the event of crises...
The only crises you have to worry about right now is keeping Mr. J.D. Clampett happy. Now get up there.
Tell me, how did you like the flamingos?
What flamingos?
I thought pink flamingos around the swimming pool would add a rather elegant touch.
Mr. Clampett is not a man educated to elegance. That will take time. Right now, there are more pressing problems.
Of course, getting settled, the servant problem.
Well, whatever they are, just get up there and solve them. Now, J.D. Clampett is this bank's largest depositor, and I'm making his satisfaction your responsibility.
I accept the mantle of responsibility with which you have cloaked my shoulders. And I shall so conduct myself that if this great financial institution shall last 1,000 years, people will still say, this was their finest hour.
Handy wood, all right. Got a lot of pitch and tar in it. Ought to burn real good.
Yeah. That flimsy grate holds up.
Granny, this is the top of that tree trunk. You want I should split it up, too?
No, just leave it outside.
Yes, sir.
This place ain't even got a wood box.
Yeah, folks don't need much wood out here. Remember what Pearl says? It don't get cold.
Yeah, I remember. It might not get cold in the day, but it sure freezes solid at night.
How you know?
I'll show you how I know. Every bit of food in this here storage bin is froze harder than a rock. Yes.
Mighty thin-skinned hog. But I'll be doggone.
Take me 2 days to thaw out that ham before I can ever cook it.
People ought to know better than store food up against the north wall. Tomorrow we'll dig us a root cellar and we put all this stuff in it. Jethro, go on out there and catch us a chicken.
Okay, Uncle Jed.
How you know we got chickens?
Place this size is bound to have chickens.
They ain't all froze today.
Chick, 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 chick.
I keep a chicken. Here's that bucket. You want it?
You take it, Elly. See if you can find a creek. I gotta have some water.
Off on this place?
It ain't even got a well.
Uncle Jed, Uncle Jed.
Yeah, boy, did you find a chicken?
I found something. I ain't sure if it's a chicken, a goose, a duck, or what.
Where is it?
I couldn't catch it. That thing can outrun a jackrabbit.
There ain't no goose or duck.
Must be a chicken.
If it is, I was right about things growing bigger out here. That thing was this high.
Chicken?
Jethro.
Honest, it's got legs this long.
Gibby's on the drumstick.
Drumstick ain't much. Whoever gets that neck is eating from now on. Commences here and runs plumb up to here. Jethro?
You ain't forgot what I said about Granny's jug of liquor.
I ain't been at Granny's jug.
You have your in for it.
Honest, cross my heart.
Where'd you see this chicken?
Down by the cement pond.
Cement pond?
Uncle Jed, that pond is the fanciest thing you ever did see. Why, they is steps, so's the cattle can walk right down into it and get a drink. And up at one end, there's a lady standing there made out of rock. And she's a-pouring water out of a jar right into that cement pond.
Oh.
Well, that's how come that big old pink chicken to get away from me. Flew right over the top of that there rock lady, landed in that pond, and swam like an otter. Just flapping them big old pink wings and hollered.
What color did you say that chicken was?
It's pink.
Ain't I told you that stuff would stunt your growth?
Miss Granny, I didn't touch a drop.
You and me is going to the woodshed.
Jethro, you swear to be telling the truth?
So help me, Jefferson Davis.
You take your hat off when you speak of the president.
He ain't president no more.
I'll have no Yankee talk in my kitchen.
Now, Jethro, you and me is going back out there and corner that chicken. Granny, you get your fire to going. Elly May, you sweep up out front and keep your eyes open for that Miss Hathaway. I'm counting on her to take you in hand and get you in the right kind of clothes. Come on.
Chicken.
You there, young man.
I ain't a young man, but I sure do thank you for thinking so.
Good heavens, you're a girl.
Yeah.
I'm Jane Hathaway, executive secretary to Mr. Drysdale. And you, I take it, are a domestic of some sort? Cleaning girl, housemaid? Just what are your duties with Mr. Clampett?
Well, he sent me out here to sweep up, but he said you'd take me in hand and get me in the right kind of clothes and everything.
Indeed, I shall. We have a complete servant's wardrobe from chef to chauffeur. Come with me. What in the name of Thomas Chippendale is this? Has Mr. Clampett seen this disgraceful and unsightly mound of debris?
Oh, yes, ma'am. This is all his.
Oh, what charming antiques.
Just like you said, Jethro, a rock lady pouring water into a cement pond.
Yes, sir. And over there's where I seen that great big pink chicken. Only thing is, it don't sound like a chicken. It makes a kind of hollering noise.
Reckon you'd make a hollering noise, too, if you was to lay egg like that.
Man, oh, man. That's what I call an egg.
And you won't have to worry about food now. Wait till she cooks this.
That blame city stove don't draw worth nothing.
Hey, Granny, look at this egg. What's all the smoke?
Stove don't work.
Probably just a stuffed-up flue.
Ain't got a flue, ain't even got a stovepipe.
Well, I'll get the shovel and a hoe and rake it out of there. Here, you keep this egg.
Just like everything else out here. Froze solid.
Really, my dear, you look quite charming.
Well, I feel like a dead blame fool.
Just a moment.
Yes, out now. I'll be right back.
Oh, that was my Pa.
I take it he's a gardener.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Pa just can't wait to commence gardening.
Apparently. However, as though I admire his enthusiasm, I must forbid him access through the main entrance. Now, tell me about the rest of the staff. Is there a chauffeur?
A what?
Someone who does the driving.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's Jethro. Of course, I don't reckon he can stay around very long. He's got to get back to Oxford and go to school.
Oxford? He attends Oxford University?
Well, he just calls it school. Pa went to school there, too.
Oh, yes. Old school tie. Great pride, those Oxford men.
Sorry I couldn't stop before. Granny was having trouble in the kitchen.
Pa, do I have to wear this here stuff that Miss Hathaway...
No, there can be no appeal from Mr. Clampett's orders.
Thank you, ma'am. Glad to see you taking a firm hand. Elly May, that's right pretty. Makes you look taller.
She's got me walking on pegs.
We'll run in and show Granny.
And get rid of those old clothes, dear. Granny, I presume, is the cook.
Yes, ma'am, but she ain't too happy about it right now.
I shall deal with her directly. Now, let's see. Maid, gardener, cook, chauffeur. Oh, I understand Jethro is an Oxford man.
You bet he is.
I'm quite anxious to meet him.
Don't blame you. Fine-looking young feller. Single, too. And he's on the lookout for a girl.
I am only interested in the intellectual rapport which I would naturally have with an Oxford man. I presume you went to Eton as a boy.
If I know Jethro, he went to Eton the minute he was born.
Yes, of course. I suppose his father matriculated him.
I kind of think maybe it was his ma.
Oh, well, no matter. At any rate, he's an Eton man.
That he is. Matter of fact, Jethro won the Eton championship.
How marvelous. What was he champion of?
Eton.
Yes, I know. But what was it? Cricket?
Oh, no. It was crawdad. I don't think even Jethro'd eat crickets.
I was referring to the game of cricket.
Jed, where's the axe?
I'll bet you, Granny. You talk to Miss Hathaway.
And just why does Cook need an axe?
I've hit this with everything I could lay a hand to. I even whopped it with an iron skillet.
You are supposed to hit it with a croquet mallet.
All right, where is it?
I don't think I'll tell you. There is a time for work and a time for play. Now then, what are we cooking for Mr. Clampett?
Well, I don't know what you're cooking him, but if he wants any victuals from me, somebody better shoot a possum.
Possum?
You got a better idea?
But of course, a nice big fluffy souffle.
All right. You shoot it and you skin it.
You don't even know what a souffle is. What kind of a cook are you?
I'm a cook with a stove that don't draw, food that's froze solid, chickens that can't be caught, eggs that can't be broke, and a smart alecky city woman telling me my business. That's what kind of a cook I am.
Mind your tongue, little woman. I can have your job.
You sure can, and the sooner the better.
Jethro's coming, and just wait till you see what he's got.
Thank heaven. Now I can have an intelligent conversation. Look, Granny, I got that big chicken.
I hope it ain't as tough as its egg.
That is a flamingo.
Oh, no, ma'am. That's my nephew, Jethro. Jethro, say hello to Miss Hathaway.
I didn't mind him. This is the ding dangest chicken you ever did see.
You go to school at Oxford?
Yes, ma'am. I'm in the 5th grade.
Stop bragging and wring that chicken's neck. Elly May!
No, stop, you barbarian. Don't harm one feather of that beautiful bird.
I've taken just about as much as I'm going to take from you.
Yeah, Granny.
Elly, you get the fire going under the big kettle outdoors.
Young lady, where is your maid's uniform?
I ain't going to wear.
Oh, yes, you are.
No, I ain't.
Oh, yes, you are, if I must subdue you forcefully.
I wouldn't try that. Tried to tell you.
I'll set on her, Elly. You get the fire to go.
Now, here, Granny. Come on, let her up. Get off of her.
You are discharged. All of you. Sacked. Fired. You are the most incompetent, insubordinate, belligerent group of domestics it has ever been my misfortune.
Hathaway.
Ah, Chief. You're just in time to help me take disciplinary action.
You're fired.
I've already told them.
Not them, you. These people are the Clampetts.
Clampett?
Yes, that's right. Now go back to the office and pick up your severance pay. You're through.
Now, Mr. Drysdale, hold on a spell. I reckon there's been a kind of a misunderstanding. But this little lady's been a right big help to us. Why, she fit in just like one of the family. Matter of fact, her and me is going out hunting. Ain't that right, Miss Hathaway?
Well, yes, and... Yeah. Jethro, you can take that pink chicken back out to the cement pond. We're going out and shoot us a nice, big, fluffy souffle.
Yes, sir, it was a dandy trip. Of course, we's all of my tuckered from sleeping setting up, but Pearl's old truck run just fine, and her boy drove all the way.
Winston?
No, Jethro. Jethro Bodine. That's that big, tall, good-looking...
No,
fellow.
Mr. Clampett, I meant, would you like a Winston cigarette?
I don't know as I've ever seen one of them before.
Oh, try one.
Mighty good smelling tobacco. What's that white stuff in there?
Oh, that's the Winston filter. But it's what's up front that counts.
You mean the tobacco?
Oh, a cigarette is only as good as the tobacco that's in it. With Winston's filter blend up front, it's like money in the bank. You're going to like Winston's.
I reckon I'll decide that for myself.
Yes, sir.
I like it. This here Winston tastes good.
Like a cigarette should.
The Beverly Hillbillies has been presented by Winston. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll try Winston, because Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here? Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolks said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Come along and visit with the Clampett family as they learn the simple pleasures of the hills of Beverly. And that includes the products of your sponsor of the week, the cereals of Kellogg's, Kellogg's of Battle Creek. K-E-double-L-O double good Kellogg's, best to you.
Jethro, what have you got to say about that?
I didn't bust it, honest.
He's telling the truth, Mr. Drysdale. It was hanging in pieces like that when we moved in.
Yes, sir.
No, it's supposed to be like that. It was made that way. It's been like that for 200 years.
200 years?
Hey, this house is older than it looks.
Jethro!
Oh, I plumb forgot. Granny wants to see you. Skedaddle.
All right, Uncle Jed.
Nice boy. His ma, my cousin Pearl, give me the notion to move out here.
Well, I'm most grateful to her. Oh, but first, I wanted to explain about this priceless crystal chandelier. It was designed and made for Louis XV, hung in the Hall of Mirrors at Versailles. Napoleon Bonaparte planned campaigns with the light of that chandelier. Talleyrand used it. Wellington, Disraeli, Bismarck, Wilson.
Mr. Drysdale, we're just plain folk. We don't mind a few things being secondhand. Getting back to my cousin Pearl, she's looking after the old home place for me. You ain't never seen my family home, have you?
No, I haven't, Mr. Clampett.
It's a dandy.
Yes, those southern mansions are beautiful. I suppose it has the large white pillars.
It did, but we bring them along and put them on the beds out here.
No, you see, I was referring to wooden pillars.
Oh, I ain't never slept on one of them. We had everything first class back home. Sure hope Pearl's taking good care of that place.
Hello there.
Oh, why, you're Mr. Brewster from the oil company that paid Cousin Jed all that money for his swamp.
25 million to be exact.
You ain't here to back out, are you?
No, indeed. Your cousin's money is safe in the bank in California. I just thought you'd like to know that I heard from the bank, and your family arrived in Beverly Hills safe and sound.
Oh, that is good news. My son Jethro drove him out, you know.
Yes, I know he did. Oh, I have something here from the bank. I think you'll enjoy it.
For me?
They told me at your house I'd find you here.
Yeah, well, I promised Cousin Jed I'd keep an eye on the old home place for him. It's a long trip from my house, but I'm glad to do it for Jed.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, well, you know, can I help you look for that money?
What is the money? It's pictures of the estate that Mr. Drysdale, the president of the bank, purchased for him in Beverly Hills.
Oh.
This is now the Jed Clampett estate.
Land to mercy, look at that. Why, it's bigger than the state capitol.
Quite a change from this place, all right.
What in the world is that?
Oh, that's the swimming pool.
Swimming pool?
Yes, quite ornate.
Oh, my son Jethro's gonna like that.
Granny, when we's done washing, can I go swimming here in the cement pond?
Of course not. I don't allow nobody splash around in my wash water.
Ain't there no place else you can wash?
This cement pond's the only water we got. Place ain't got a well, it ain't got a creek. Ain't even got a rain barrel to catch what comes out of the sky.
Oh, when that banker fella seen me unloading your wash tub and scrubbing board, he said, why, you can throw that away. We don't use them things here in Beverly Hills.
Now, you listen here to me, boy. I don't care how other folks live in Beverly Hills, but us Clampetts is gonna be clean.
Yes, ma'am.
May not have it as nice as we had it back home in the cabin. Pump right in the house and everything. But we ain't gonna lower our standards.
No, ma'am.
Here, wrench these things out for me. We gotta get this tub back to the kitchen for Elly's bath. Yep. Being clean is a strict rule with your Uncle Jed. Let me look you over. Many's the time we've been down to our last piece of fat. I'd say, shall I cook it to eat it, or shall I render it down for soap? He'd say no. Render it down for soap, Granny. The Lord will feed us poor folks, but we gotta do our own washing.
But Uncle Jed ain't poor now, Granny. He got $25 million.
How long do you think that's gonna last if we go throwing it away on store-bought soap? Waste not, want not.
Now, here's a view of the entrance hall.
My stars and garters. Why, it's a palace. Whoever would have thought that my cousin Jed would be living in an estate like this?
Well, the credit is yours. You're the one who talked him into moving.
Oh, well, I put the notion in his head. But it was really kind of Elly May when.
Yes, his daughter will have a wonderful life as a Beverly Hills debutante. Can't you just see that beautiful girl descending this magnificent stairway?
I sure can.
Elly May, I don't reckon that's the way a young lady comes down the steps in Beverly Hills, is it, Mr. Drysdale?
Oh, not as a rule, no.
Oh, I can come down the other way. Watch this. How's that?
Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind.
Well, show me.
No, my secretary will show you. Oh, she's in town doing some shopping for you.
Oh, what's she getting me?
Now, that's going to be a surprise, Ellie, but it's some things you've been in needing, and they're going to be pretty, and you're going to like them.
Things I've been a needing? A set of muskrat traps. A 3-blade frog sticker.
Nope.
A ready-made slingshot.
Now, Ellie, you way off the track. Now, you wait till Miss Hathaway gets here and you'll see.
Yes. Well, I'll be pushing along to the bank. Now, don't you worry about your daughter, Mr. Clampett. When my secretary gets through with her, you'll think she's been to finishing school.
I sure wish my cousin Pearl was out here fixing Ellie up. She's a whiz at fancy sewing.
Oh, is she a dressmaker?
That woman can make anything. Why, she can pick up a handful of straw, and before you know it, she's made a hat.
That's remarkable. So she's a milliner.
Oh, she's a Clampett. Married a Bodine. I don't recall knowing the milliners.
Milliners are women who make hats.
That's Pearl, all right, but she's a Clampett. You talk about making hats. Pearl made herself a hat one time was shaped just like a bird's nest. And in there on the nest was this blue jay a-setting on her eggs. Well, sir, they come from everywhere to see that hat, to study it, to see how Pearl made it so they could copy it. Boy, there was dozens of them from all around.
Hat designers?
No, blue jay. Never did catch on too good with people. For a while there, Pearl couldn't hardly go out of the house without a bunch of blue jays taken out after her. Sure wish she was out here. She'd have Ellie slick as a picture in a catalog.
Yep. I ought to be out there in Beverly Hills helping Cousin Jed.
Well, he certainly has plenty of room for you. This mansion of his has 32 rooms and 14 baths.
14 bathrooms?
Yes.
A sunken marble bathtub. I can just see Elly May having herself a bubble bath in there.
I tell you, Mr. Brewster, the more I see of these pictures, the more I want to get out there and help Cousin Jed. Of course, I wouldn't go without being asked.
Well, naturally. But, you know, I think you should go.
I've been asked.
Well, now, it's not exactly my province. Well, why don't you telephone your cousin and talk to him?
Oh, why, there ain't a telephone within 40 miles of this place. Nearest one, I guess, is at the International Emporium, clean over to Oxford.
Well, I'll be happy to drive you over there.
Oh, I couldn't let you drive me all that way just to use telephone. Busy oil company man like you. That's 40 miles.
There's no trip at all in this car.
No, I couldn't do it. Why, folks would see me riding in this big, shiny car with a tall, good-looking city fella. Why, sure as the world, they'd think that... Let's go.
Well, what about your horse and buggy?
Oh, just untie Betsy. You go on home.
Well, Bessie's headed for home, all right. Mrs. Bodine, how long has your buggy been hitched there?
About an hour. Why?
Why, Blue Jay built her nest on the seat, and she was sitting on her eggs.
Oh, shoot. I wanted to wear that.
And here's Miss Hathaway.
Mon capitaine, je suis retour.
Fine. Ready for Elly May?
Gentlemen, aided and abetted by the gossamer garments, exotic lotions, and other feminine appurtenances within these cartons, I am ready to assume the role of Pygmalion and transform that barefoot Galatea into a striking and sophisticated paragon of Beverly Hills literature.
That's yes the hard way. Well, duty calls. I leave you in capable hands. Goodbye, Mr. Clampett.
Thank you, sir.
Chief?
Well, that sure is neighborly of you, Miss Hathaway. Reckon you can handle Elly May?
Uncle Jed, Granny says... Oh, howdy, Miss Hathaway.
Oh, bonjour, Jethro.
Here are them things in for Miss Hathaway, Jethro. I think she kind of likes you, boy.
She does? Well, I can't take them into the house. That's what I come out here to tell you. Granny says that all the men folks got to stay out of the house while Elly May's taking her bath.
Oh.
But isn't Elly May bathing in the privacy of her own bedroom suite?
Hear what she called you? Sweet.
What's the matter with him? Why doesn't he answer?
Hey, he's just a little shy, I reckon. Ask him again.
Is Elly May in her bedroom suite?
No, she ain't, darling.
Never mind, I'll find her myself.
Uncle Jed, I got me a girl.
You sure have, boy, and a city girl, too.
Some city girls I were about. Jethro's such a good-looking boy. Every girl in the 5th grade was after him.
I hardly think anything serious can develop between boys and girls in the 5th grade.
Oh, I don't know. So far this year, there's been 3 couples out of Jethro's class get married.
Married? 5th grader?
Parson's nearly as busy in that school as the teacher.
That's amazing. Oh, I've heard of
Wouldn't you know it? There's that Snoopy Alverna Bradshaw and her big mouth daughter sitting on my front porch. Oh, I can just hear the stories they'll start going around if they see me in this car here with you. Yoo-hoo! Alverna! It's me! Pearl! Terrible gossip, that woman, always making trouble. She tried to talk Granny out of going to California. She ought to see Granny now. Living like a queen in that Beverly Hills mansion.
I should have listened to Alverna Bradshaw and stayed home. And had a pump right in the house. Didn't have to tote water a quarter of a mile. Oh, you ready to get rinsed off, Ellie?
Well, not yet, Granny. Should have washed my hair.
No. You better wait till I can catch some rainwater. That pond water smells like it's got medicine in it.
I wondered why there's no fish in that pond.
Yeah, I reckon that water killed them fish. Don't you worry. My lye soap will kill anything that killed them fish.
Have you seen... What in the world's going on here?
Well, there's a bath going on. That's what's going on.
Howdy.
But I don't understand.
Well, then somebody ought to explain it to you, sissy woman. You see, first you heat some water. Then you put it in a great big tub like this. You put some soap in it, and then you get in it, and you start to wash, and that's what you call a bath.
Granny, you don't have to do this sort of thing in Beverly Hills.
Don't you listen to her, Ellie. Ain't you ever heard that saying that cleanness is next to godliness?
But of course, John Wesley said that.
And I bet he didn't live in Beverly Hills. Here, Ellie, dry yourself off with this nice big bath towel. Ah, my girl. I'll rinse off that old lye soap.
Lye soap? Did you say lye soap?
That's right. I make it myself.
But that will ruin this beautiful girl's delicate skin.
I've been washing with it for 72 years. Look at my skin.
It's like leather.
Yeah. Nice, ain't it?
Granny, I hope you will forgive my momentary bewilderment at this primitive form of ablution, but please let me explain.
First explain what you just said.
Well, Elly May has a beautiful big bathtub upstairs.
Upstairs? It was hard enough carrying the water in here. I ain't going to tote no water upstairs.
But you don't have to. There's a big, beautiful... Haven't you been upstairs?
No. Jed said that probably belonged to somebody else. Ain't that right, Ellie?
Yeah. Paul said he heard tell that folks sometimes live one family right on top of another.
But that's only in apartment houses. This entire house belongs to you. And each one has his own individual bedroom suite. Come along and let me show you. And also the lovely things I brought from town.
Yeah, you go ahead. I'll be up directly.
What all did you bring from town?
Everything, Ellie. Everything from chapeau to pumps.
Pumps! Praise the Lord. Now I won't have to tote water.
Get through? Yeah, Uncle Jed? Now, you're going to be keeping company with a girl. Is there any questions you like to ask me?
What kind of question?
About girls. How much you know about girls?
They softer than boys.
Yeah, I reckon. Generally speaking.
And they shorter and rounder.
Yeah?
And the hair's longer and it smells sweet when you snuggles up to 'em.
Oh, so you've been doing some snuggling, have you?
I done more than that.
I reckon you better tell me about it. Who was she?
Prettiest girl in the hills. Big Mouth Bradshaw.
Old Verner's girl. I hear tell she's kind of fast.
Is she ever? Uncle Jed, I was walking past the cabin, and Big Mouth, she calls out the window to me. She says, "Howdy, Jethro." She says, "My ma's just made a big batch of cookies. Come on in and have some." And I says, "Sure your ma won't mind?" And she says, "Ma's gone, and so's Pa. I'm here all alone." Well, Uncle Jed, I was in that house before you could wink an eye.
Can't say as I blame you.
Well, no sooner was I inside, the Big Mouth, she puts a music record on the phonograph machine and commences to sashaying around, a twisting and a turning.
Dancing.
Yeah, I reckon so. Anyway, she says, "Put your arms around me, Jethro, and I'll teach you the two-step."
What'd you say?
I says, "Listen, Big Mouth," I says, "here we are all alone. Your ma and your pa gone, and you think that I'm going to waste my time dancing?" I says, "Not me, sister. Bring on them cookies."
What'd she say?
Well,
Jed, you and Jethro can start digging the well. That city woman brought us some pumps.
That's fine, Granny. We'll get right to it. What'd that Bradshaw girl say when you said bring on them cookies?
Well, she just held up them cookies like this here. Kind of blinked her eyes at me and said, "Jethro, which do you think it tastes sweeter? These here cookies or my lips?" Well, Uncle Jed, right then and there is when I found out she was fast. I grabbed them 2 cookies, and it took me 2 miles to outrun that gal.
Jethro, on one of these days, you and me's got to have a long talk.
Yes. He's a lady killer, that bar of mine. While Werner Bradshaw's daughter traced him all the way home one day.
Sounds like Jethro has a lot of charm and sex appeal.
Oh, he has. It's funny how a daughter can take after her father and a boy can favor his mother. Yes. I ought to be out there looking after Jethro. You know, Jed's going to need him to help garden a place this big.
Well, most Beverly Hills mansions have regular gardeners. And, of course, a complete sprinkling system.
Sprinkling system?
Oh, yes, indeed. That entire lawn is crisscrossed with underground pipes.
Land to mercy.
By thunder, Jethro, there's water all over this property. Ain't too deep, neither.
I know. Should I commence to digging?
Well, now, let's get as close to the house as we can. That way the pump won't have so far to pull.
Clampett? Jethro?
Oh, here comes your sweetheart.
It's Clampett. I cannot handle that daughter of yours.
What happened?
I opened that box of beautiful clothes, turned my back for a moment, and she bolted like a wild colt.
I was afraid this would happen. Where is she?
She's up there.
I'll go right up and talk to her.
Jethro, have you been upstairs yet?
No, ma'am.
Then you've got a surprise coming to you.
What is it?
Your sweets.
So are you.
No.
Oh, howdy, Pop.
Shame to you. Running off from Miss Hathaway.
I didn't run away from Miss Hathaway.
What'd you climb up here for?
To cut a fork for that new store-bought slingshot she brought me.
Did she bring you a slingshot?
Fanciest thing you ever did see. Just a minute, I'll hook it up and you can see for yourself. Look at that.
Doggone. A store-bought, lace-trimmed, double-barrel slingshot.
Ain't it a doozy? I don't know how good I can aim it, but it'll sure throw a heap of rocks.
Yeah, they really need me out there. Well, I could work wonders for Elly May with my fancy sewing and beauty secrets and hairstyling and everything. Of course, I had to learn all those things, not having a husband to support me.
Didn't you say it was 40 miles to the town of Oxford?
That's right.
Well, we've already driven 110 miles.
Land to mercy, I forgot to tell you the turn-off. Well, as long as we come this far, maybe we ought to go right on to California.
I tell you, Granny, there's so much water here, you could shoot a load of buckshot in that ground and bring up a dozen springs.
I'll be right back.
I ain't never missed yet.
Miss Hathaway, you can take them pumps back.
You're wet.
They springs gushing all through the pasture.
Jethro, you are the epitome of ingenuousness.
Hey.
Oh.
But this is eating corn. All those folks is big on corn.
I was about to give Elly May a lesson in table manners, but you sit down. Kellogg's cornflakes are esteemed universally, but there are more socially acceptable ways to enjoy them. We add sugar and cream. The fruit is optional.
Looks like berries. Is this the way they eat corn in Beverly Hills? I'm glad I come.
The Beverly Hillbillies has been presented by Kellogg's Corn Flakes. From Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. You all come back now. Here? Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Come along and visit with the Clampett family as they take you to their mansion in the hills of Beverly. And when they do, you'll run into a friend of theirs you've met, that good old friend with filter blend, Winston cigarette. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Granny, whereabouts do you want the still?
Over here on this side of the cement pond, Jethro.
Okay, Granny.
Come on. We's waiting. Turn it a mite that way, Jethro.
Only one bad thing about putting you still here, Granny.
What's that?
Drysdale place is downwind. The smell of your corn liquor or brewing is going to drive poor Miss Drysdale right out of her mind. She's a drinking woman.
How do you know, Uncle Jay?
Well, he kind of let it slip out. Remember when we was unloading this from the truck?
Yeah?
He says to me, what's that? I said, that's a still for making corn liquor. He turned kind of white and trembly, and he says, oh, please don't ever let my wife see that. I reckon she just can't leave the stuff alone.
Some folks like that. Terrible.
Come to think of it, that's how come she's in Boston.
What kind of drinker?
Yeah. Miss Hathaway says she goes all over every place looking to get cured.
Damn city cure's no good. The minute you go to taking it away from them, they want it all the more. I could cure Mrs. Drysdale of her drinking in 2 days.
Oh, Granny?
I just telling her she could have all she wanted. When they find out you don't care if they drink, they don't care to drink.
That sure would be a blessing.
Huh?
Over here, Elly, now. No more talk about drinking.
Hey, look, everybody. Elly May's wearing a dress.
How, Mr. Drysdale's in the house to see you.
All right. My, ain't she pretty?
Yeah. But, Elly, you're showing too much bare hide.
Well, that ain't her fault, Granny. She just got the dress on backwards. Elly, honey, put it on the other way around.
All right.
Hold it. Hold on. What in the world kind of a dress is that?
Well, Miss Hathaway says it's a California sundress.
Wouldn't let no son of mine wear it. Daughter neither. Granny, you'd best get her into something decent whilst I talk to Mr. Drysdale.
Uncle Jay, can I go swimming in the cement pond?
Oh, I reckon so, Jethro. But this ain't like the swimming hole back home. You can't go in there without no clothes on.
I can't?
No, sir.
Okay, Uncle Jay.
Someday I gotta have a long talk with that boy.
Mr. Drysdale's office, Miss Hathaway speaking. Boston. That must be Mrs. Drysdale. No, don't put her on. She'll only make my life Mrs. Drysdale. How are you? How are things in Boston?
Oh, the doctors here are just as silly as the ones in Beverly Hills. They insist there's nothing wrong with me. They've got me so depressed. I just had to call and talk to my darling. Are you taking good care of him?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, he's stretched out on the sofa right now having his nap.
How sweet. Well, the moment he wakens, you take his temperature and give him some of that blue medicine. What? He's waking now? Oh, marvelous. Put him on. Tell him Mumsy wants to hear his sweet voice.
Speak to your Mumsy. He whined.
Oh, he probably has a migraine. Oh, poor Patricia, my lord.
Even made a hypochondriac out of you. Any message for Mr. Drysdale?
Who? Oh, Melvin, my husband. Yes, well, is he there?
No, he's up at the Clampett estate. Clampett, they bought the place next to yours just about the time you left for Boston.
I don't find them listed in the first families. You tell Milburn not to mingle with them socially until I've had a genealogical check run on them. We don't want riffraff living under our very noses.
For pain, one swaller. Don't open near fire.
I'll be right in, Mr. Drysdale.
Thank you, Elly May. Granny, this is quite an array of medicines you have here.
Yep, them's all the remedies I made myself.
I wish you'd make something to help my wife. She's a terrible hypochondriac.
Oh,
What's a hypochondriac?
Ellie, you run along now. I'll join you directly.
Yeah, she goes from doctor to doctor to doctor.
Well, I reckon the doctor can't help what's ailing her.
Of course they can. It's psychosomatic. But she insists on prescriptions. Oh, I wish you could see our bedroom. Bottles all over the place. I plead with her. I hide the stuff. She always finds it or gets more. You think that's a lot of bottles? You should see my wife after a trip to the pharmacy. Why, she's so loaded she can hardly stagger up the stairs.
Sit down, Mr. Drysdale. Set yourself.
And she has a dog. A perfectly healthy poodle. Now, would you believe that she
Don't tell me.
laps it up just like she does?
Lord, love. You're sure toting a heavy burden. Now, maybe I can help you. Now, if she was to think that every time that she was to...
You can just wear that barrel till your clothes get dry.
What happened to Jethro? Get too close to a skunk?
He jumped in the pond with his clothes on. Mr. Drysdale, I'm sorry to kept you waiting. Did Granny tell you about her complaints about the kitchen?
Jed, I'm ashamed to mention my piddling troubles to a man bowed down with the misery he's got. You know his wife.
Mr. Drysdale, our hearts go out to you.
And we're going to help you, ain't we, Jed?
You betcha we are. Man serves a poor purpose in this world if he can't help his neighbor.
Oh, you're very kind, but I'll manage. I've been living with it for years.
Have a nip, it'll brace you up.
Oh, no, thank you. I never touch it.
You hear that, Jed? Poor man. He's got all the trouble and none of the fun.
There goes a soft-hearted woman.
Yeah. Now, about her complaints.
Oh, yeah. Well, for one thing, that electric meat grinder has been giving Granny a heap of trouble.
Electric meat grinder?
Yeah, listen right here in the dish trough. Oh, it grinds the meat all right, but then you can't find it. It goes down that pipe. Granny lost 2 squirrels and a rabbit in that thing.
That's a disposal. You only put things in there that you don't want.
Now, Mr. Drysdale, that ain't altogether true. Granny sure wanted them squirrels and that rabbit. And another thing, this here sideways pump don't work at all. We must have carried in a barrel of water to prime that thing, but it don't work. Oh, there's another thing. Every once in a while, this little thingamajig here makes a ringing noise like that. There it goes again.
Well, that's the telephone. Someone's calling you.
I don't hear him.
They're calling you on the telephone. Say hello into it.
Hello.
You have to lift the receiver first. Now say it.
Hello.
Mr. Clampett?
He said my name. Can he see through this thing?
No.
Mr. Clampett, may I please speak to Mr. Drysdale?
Well, they sure can see, or else how would they know you're standing here?
That's my secretary. She knows I'm here. Yes, Miss Hathaway.
Mr. Drysdale, I have some messages.
But I'll be doggone. Granny! Elly May! Come look what we got!
The Clampetts have just discovered the telephone. Yes, indeed. This is a marvelous invention. With this instrument, you can talk to anyone, any place in the civilized world.
Can we talk to my cousin Pearl?
Oh, yes, of course.
Right now?
Yes?
Elly May, run out back and fetch Jethro. Oh, wait a minute. You might not have his clothes on yet.
Oh, I'll get him.
Jed, is he greening us? Can we, honest to goodness, talk to Pearl on this thing?
You heard what he said.
Hello, Pearl, you old rascal. What you doing back there?
Oh, there ain't crowd this here
gotta pick this thing up.
Hello, Pearl, you old rascal. What you doing back there?
Oh, there ain't Pearl. This here's Elly.
What's she saying?
You saying a word, you're just humming.
She ain't even humming a tune.
Shut up, humming, and say something.
Jethro will be right in. You ready to call Pearl?
You've been a calling, but you just hum.
Oh, that's a dial tone. First, you've got to dial long distance like this. Okay.
Howdy, Pearl.
Hello, Pearl, you old rascal. What you doing back there?
Oh, there ain't Pearl. This here's Elly.
This is long distance.
We know that, Pearl.
Oh, I believe you have the operator. What's Pearl's number?
Number?
Operator.
Just a moment.
Hey, folks, Mr. Drysdale told me what y'all was up to. You can't talk to Ma on that thing.
Well, look who's getting too smart for his britches.
Too big for him, too.
Mr. Drysdale says we can talk to her.
Yeah, you think you know more than Mr. Drysdale?
Well, I know Ma ain't got no telephone.
Excuse the call, operator.
You sure spoil things.
Yeah, who asked you to butt in?
I'll get it. I know what to do when it does that. Hello? Yeah, he's here. Well, for goodness sake. Well, sure. Well, howdy there, Miss Drysdale. This here is your... Margaret. Oh, how wonderful.
What? Man? No. Oh, yes, the telephone man. Well, how are you?
I'm worried, that's how I am. I'm afraid, Milburn, that you've let the wrong kind of people move in next door to us, and I'm dreadfully upset.
Now, dear, you mustn't let yourself get into this condition. Control yourself. No, dear, you mustn't come home yet. No, not until we get them in shape. I mean, get you in shape. Well, you know, now we'll wait until you're cute.
Milburn, I want to meet the Clampetts as soon as possible. Now, when will that be?
What about Christmas? Next year.
Milburn, this conversation is making less and less sense. Now, I want the truth about the Clampetts, or I'm flying home immediately.
Now, Margaret, please control yourself. I don't want you flying. No, please, dear, please, stay on the ground. Dear, why don't you lie down and take a sedative? And I'll call you from the office. Goodbye. I'm sorry, my wife.
We understand.
Well, I'll see you later.
Keep your chin up.
Poor man.
Don't it just tear your heart out? He is so ashamed of his wife, he don't even want us to meet her.
What he says, she won't be cured till Christmas of next year.
You gotta help me, Granny.
I still say I could cure Mrs. Drysdale in 2 days.
Sure be worth a try if we could get her out here.
Jed, misery loves company. And if that poor, miserable woman thought that she had a drinking friend living next door...
Granny, you ain't ever down more than a thimbleful in your whole life.
I know, Jed, but it'd be worth a little white lie to help a neighbor and save a marriage.
But how? Hello? Yes, ma'am. Ain't that a stroke of luck, Granny? It's Mrs. Drysdale again. Well, no, ma'am, he ain't here, Mrs. Drysdale, but Granny and me'd like to talk to you. We your next-door neighbors, the Clampetts.
Listen, honey, I got my still set up not 50 feet from your back door. Now, you come on home, and you and me will get glassy-eyed, falling down crocked. We'll get juiced-at eyeballs. How does that sound to you, honey?
I don't hear nothing.
Me neither.
What do you mean my wife's on her way from Boston?
The message I got when I tried to put through your call. She's on a jet, right?
Never mind the grisly details. Oh, I am ruined. If Margaret gets one look at those hillbillies next door, she'll leave me. Get my psychiatrist over here. Move over, Claude. I need this more than you do.
Mr. Drysdale, you don't need your psychiatrist. You're looking at the dark side.
There is a bright side.
Of course. Your wife is an intelligent woman. She'll see that underneath that rough exterior, the Clampetts are basically fine people. Why, she may even help them to get socially acclimated.
You're right. I don't need my psychiatrist. You do.
Your wife will take...
My wife, through whose aristocratic veins flows blood the color of bluing, considers anyone whose ancestors did not arrive on the Mayflower immigrants.
She does make rather a fetish at the family tree, but...
But nothing. I'm stuck. I'm either going to lose my wife or my largest depositor. That's what makes the whole thing so difficult. You know, I like the Clampetts, but I love my wife. Isn't life weird? She's a snob, she's a hypochondriac, she's not young and beautiful, but I love her. And now I do need my psychiatrist.
Now, Mr. Drysdale, as we used to say at Vassar, que tout devient to clarisset. Courage will light your path.
Yes, I know what I have to do. I'll go to the airport. I'll take Margaret in my arms. I'll look her in the eye and lie like a rug. I'll tell her the Clampetts have left town and put her back on the plane.
I beseech you, do not become enmeshed in a web of lies.
But it won't be a lie if the Clampetts are tricked into actually leaving town.
But they're just getting settled. What could possibly induce them to leave town?
That's your problem.
Me? You expect me?
But they like you. Finagle them into going to Palm Springs for a few days.
No, no. I will not help you spin your deceitful web.
Miss Hathaway, would you rather be an unemployed secretary or a spider with a raise?
You know, I think the Clampetts might enjoy Palm Springs.
Palm Springs? Where's that?
It's about 125 miles from here, in the desert.
Desert?
Yeah, remember we crossed on them on the way out here. All that sand?
Yeah, I remember. You ain't getting me to no desert. Trees were so far apart, the woodpeckers had to tote lunch.
But this is different, Granny. This is a beautiful resort with lots of trees and fine hotels and swimming pools.
We got a pond for swimming right here.
Elly's out swimming right now.
You didn't jump in with her clothes on, did you?
I don't know.
Oh, surely not. She promised to wear the lovely swim ensemble I got her.
Yeah, she done just like Jethro. Here she comes with the dress shrunk clear up to her. Granny!
What's the matter?
All her hair come out.
What?
It's true. Elly lost her beautiful hair.
Heaven help her, she's bald as an eagle.
Elly May, take off your bathing cap.
Oh, praise be.
All right, but Elly, you hadn't ought to went swimming with your clothes on and shrunk up that nice dress.
This ain't a dress, is it, Miss Jane?
No, dear, it's a beach jacket to wear over a bathing suit.
Elly May Clampett.
Cover up your nakedness, child.
That's the way everyone goes swimming out here. It's perfectly proper.
Well, you wouldn't catch me in nothing like that.
Me neither.
Mr. Clampett, how would you like for a member of your family to become Princess of Palm Springs?
What?
They're holding a beauty contest at the Springs this week, and someone in this very room has the face and the figure to win. When the judges see her in a bathing suit...
I told you I ain't putting on no bathing suit.
Believe me, Mr. Clampett, this beautiful daughter of yours can win that Palm Springs beauty contest without even trying.
Can we go, Pa?
I'm sorry, Elly May, but I just don't cotton to the notion of a bunch of strangers gawking at your bare limbs. Besides, we already know you're the prettiest. Why shame all them other girls? Run along and get some clothes on.
Yes, sir, Pa.
Mr. Clampett, I do wish you would reconsider about going to Palm Springs, even if Elly
Uncle
doesn't...
Jed, Duke, and... Howdy, Miss Hathaway.
Jane to you, Jethro.
Well, Jane to you, too. Duke and me's all set to go hunting, ain't we, Duke?
Jethro, have you ever hunted in the desert?
No, ma'am.
Oh, it's a fascinating place. You might even see a mirage.
If there's one there, old Duke will tree it. He's the best hunting dog there is.
Well, you'll love hunting around Palm Springs. You'll all love Palm Springs. They have wonderful hotels. Have you ever stayed in a beautiful hotel suite?
No, I ain't, darling.
Granny, let's you and me go and leave these two lovebirds alone.
No, wait, please, let me take you all to Palm Springs.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you take Jethro and Elly May, and me and Granny will stay here.
But then Mrs. Drysdale would see. I mean...
Is Drysdale coming home? Is that why you was trying to get us out of town so we wouldn't meet her?
Yes, that is the reason. I'm so ashamed I could die.
Well, now, don't go to crying about it. The way I look at it, ain't nobody got a right to be ashamed of nobody else. Good Lord made us all, and if we's good enough for him, we sure ought to be good enough for each other. I hold back on them tears. You was among friends. Why, I remember a long time ago hearing a fella say it. He said it just about right. He said, there is so much good in the worst of us and so much bad in the best of us that it don't hardly...
Boo!
Well, go ahead and bawl. It'll make you feel better. I'll tell you what. If this means so much to you, we'll all pick up and go to them Palm Springs with you.
Oh, bless you. Mr. Drysdale will be so happy. I'll go help Elly May pack.
I'm telling you, that Miss Drysdale must be a mess.
She's gonna need our help, Jed. This is a poor time for us to be leaving.
Yeah, we gotta help her once we get back. Right now, we gotta respect Mr. Drysdale's feelings. Jethro, you go get the truck ready.
Okay, Uncle Jed.
The Clampetts gardener shouldn't leave his car parked in the front driveway that way.
Oh, you're absolutely right, dear, yes. Oh, Margaret, don't you want to stop at home first and freshen up? Take some medicine or something?
Milburn, I have just flown 3,000 miles to meet the Clampetts, and I intend to meet them right now.
Well, Don, they're probably out of town. You see, they travel extensively. Oh, they're wonderful people. It'd be a shame if you missed them. But I know how anxious you are to get back to Boston and your doctors. And Sonny. How is Sonny? How's he like Harvard this year? Is it Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth? Let's go ask him.
Milburn, what is the matter with you? Milburn, let go. Let go, you hear me? Let go, I say. Let go. Have you gone mad? Let go, you beast.
Step aside, lady. I'll shoot it.
What'd you shoot, Jethro?
I think it was a fox.
Who's that?
My wife. And why aren't you in Palm Springs? Let's get her home as quickly as possible.
What's going on?
Jethro shot a fox. That's Miss Drysdale, stewed to the gills.
No wonder they didn't want us to see her.
Poor woman.
You mean poor husband.
Yeah. We can't go up to Palm Springs and leave our neighbor at a time like this.
That's right. We gotta pitch in and see that his wife gets cured.
Uncle Jed, are we going hunting?
Might as well. It'll be a while before she sleeps that one off.
Well, I hope there's some possum around. These skinny old California foxes ain't worth shooting at.
What you doing, Granny?
Making myself a new pipe.
Oh, I got something here you want to cotton to. That banker fella gave them to me.
What's that?
Winston cigarettes. Try one, Granny. They is first rate.
Well, if you say they're really good.
Best smoking you ever had.
By thunder, Jed, that is good smoking.
Now try it this way, Granny.
Tastes even better.
They tell me these Winstons is the best tasting cigarette you can get.
Well, I may put away my corn cob. That's saying a heap for 'em.
You know, Granny, there just ain't no way of saying how good a Winston is. You gotta smoke one to find out.
Well, I can say this. Winston tastes mighty good.
Like a Cigarette should.
The Beverly Hillbillies has been presented by Winston. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll try Winston, because Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. You all come back now. Here? Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Come along and visit with the Clampett family as they learn the simple pleasures of the hills of Beverly. That includes the products of your sponsor of the week, the cereals of Kellogg's, Kellogg's of Battle Creek. K-E-double-L-O double good Kellogg's, best to you.
Jethro, tell us exactly what happened with Miss Drysdale.
Well, I come around the side of the house, and I see this here lady fighting with a furry-looking varmint.
Turned out it was Miss Drysdale.
No, Uncle Jed, it was a fox.
Lady was Miss Drysdale.
Oh, yeah. So I grabs up the shotgun, and I says, step aside, lady, and I'll shoot it. Well, instead of that, she whipped around and throwed that thing in the air. Well, I shot it on the fly. With both barrels.
Blew my wife's fox fur to shreds.
I wonder if she fainted dead away.
I caught her just in time. The chauffeur had to help me get her into the car. She was out like a light.
She was stewed to the gills. You said it took 2 men to get her back in the car.
You know, Jethro, could be that there fox was Miss Drysdale's pet.
Why in tarnation would she want a sneaky old fox for a pet?
'Cause them kind of people are liable to do anything.
What kind of people?
Ask your pa.
Well, I reckon I can't protect you from the ugly side of life forever. You see, Miss Drysdale is what city folks calls what was her husband called it, Granny?
Hypochondriac.
Yeah, that means she drinks a little.
A little? Her own husband said her bedroom was full of bottles.
The doctor says she'll sleep for several hours. He gave her a sedative.
What about Claude?
Oh, she insisted that he have a sedative, too. Poor dog, he's probably the first canine hypochondriac.
Well, let's be thankful for one thing, Mr. Drysdale.
What's that?
The tree outside the window. It completely obscures her view of the Clampett estate.
Yes. And if that tree should ever lose its leaves and she gets one look at those hillbillies...
It shall not happen. The Clampetts have agreed to accompany me to Palm Springs.
Fine, fine. Now, you keep them there until I get Margaret back to Boston.
Can do and will do.
Maybe it's for the best that you know about that poor woman next door, Ellie. Now you can pitch in and help us get her cured.
Yep. I'll need you to help find the makings from a sobering up mash. That's what I'll give her first.
But Miss Jane said she was taking us to Palm Springs.
Folks don't run off and leave the neighbors when they's in trouble. What all you gonna need for your sobering up mash, Granny?
Well, most of the stuff I got. But it takes pecan root, wretchweed, sourdough. skunk oil, chimney soot, spider webs, horse beard, snake wart, pepper leaves, chicken gizzards, stump water, coal oil, slippery elm ooze, and turpentine, and a few more things that's secret. Oh, and the biggest toad you can find.
Granny, you use a live toad?
That's just for testing. I give it a swaller to see how far it jumps.
Last time Granny used a sobering up mash, set a new record. Clean over the top of Elverny Bradshaw's clothesline.
That's tall jumping for a toad.
Oh, this wasn't no toad. This was Elverny's husband, Homer. It was him Granny was sobering up. Welly, if you're going out in the brush hunting stuff for Granny, you'd best put on some old clothes.
Okay, Pop. Well, let's get it going. Oh, I pert near forgot. I have to have some goat's milk. After Mrs. Drysdale takes my sobering up mash, she has to have fresh goat's milk every half hour to stop the burning.
Well, I reckon Jethro can borrow some. Well-to-do neighborhood like this, folks is bound to keep goats.
Everybody except us. We ain't even got a cow.
Nor pigs neither.
Nor chickens.
We ain't even got nothing to pull a plow.
You're supposed to be so dad blame rich. I'll bet we're the only family in Beverly Hills that ain't got a mule.
I reckon it is high time I was stocking this place. Even Mr. Drysdale's been after me to buy some cattle.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, just the other day he says to me, Mr. Clampett, you got $25 million in cash. You ought to put some of that money into stock.
Well, we better get busy now if we're going to find...
There goes that music again. Jethro, did you ever find out where that's coming from?
No, sir, I didn't. Every time I went to looking for it, somebody always come to the door. This time I'm gonna find it for sure.
Yeah, good hunting. Me and Granny will be figuring out what stock to buy.
Doggone it, never failed. Howdy, Miss Hathaway.
Oh, please stop calling me Miss Hathaway. Now, if I can call you by your first name, Jethro, surely you can do the same for me.
But,
Please?
well, howdy, Miss Jethro.
How about calling me Jane?
I like that better.
Well, are we all set to leave for Palm Springs?
No, ma'am. Uncle Jed and me's going to town and buy some stock.
Stock?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Drysdale, he told Uncle Jed he had ought to put some of his money into stock.
He dictated a memo on that. But you needn't waste time driving into town. You can order your stock by telephone. Now, here are Mr. Drysdale's recommendations. He doesn't want your Uncle Jed to get a bum steer.
Oh, Uncle Jed, he wouldn't buy no bum steer.
They should be cautious in a bull market.
You gotta be careful with cows, too.
Jethro, you have the most delightfully bucolic sense of humor. Now then, would you like to ride to Palm Springs with me, or would you prefer to drive and meet me there? Jethro?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Would you like to drive your own car?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I like to drive.
Very well. I have typed out explicit directions. I've even drawn a map showing the exact location of the hotel. They have a lovely pool, and... Jethro.
Oh, yes, ma'am?
I'm taking a bikini to Palm Springs.
Is that faster than a train?
Jethro, you dear naive boy. You shall see when we go swimming. You Tarzan. Me Jane.
No, ma'am. I'm Jethro Bodine.
I almost hate to see you change.
I ain't gonna change.
Oh, yes, you will. Under my tutelage, you will become an educated man of letters. Someday I shall introduce you as Jethro Bodine. B.A., M.A., Ph.D.
Awful smart woman, but that ain't the way you spell Bodine. All I know is this is the kind of stock Mr. Drysdale thinks is good.
What does that say?
IBM.
What's that spell?
IBM.
What's an IBM?
I don't know. Next, it's got Us's.
Us's?
Well, that's what's wrote there. USS.
That makes sense.
Maybe it ain't Mr. Drysdale's fault. Just between you and me, that Miss Hathaway can't spell for sour grape.
I don't need this list nohow. Me and Granny's already figured out what we want.
That's right. A pair of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
Reckon we can get all that on a truck?
Don't have to. Miss Hathaway says just call on the telephone and they bring them out.
Oh, now, ain't that nice? Hello?
Jed, I watched that banker feller. You have to stick your finger in them holes and spin her a while.
All right. Reckon that ought to do it.
Operator.
Oh, howdy, ma'am. This here is Jed Clampett. I'd like to buy some stock.
What number do you wish?
Number? Oh, a couple of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
I'll give you information.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate all the information you can give me. It's the first time I ever bought stock on the telephone.
Perhaps I'd better connect you with the supervisor.
2 heads is better than 1.
Supervisor speaking. May I help you?
Well, thank you, ma'am. This here is Jed Clampett. I'd like to buy some stock.
Do you know the number you wish to reach?
Well, that's more or less up to the animals. But the number I want to start with is a couple of goats, 3 pigs, 4 cows, a bull, a mule, and a dozen chickens.
This sure is a dandy pin, Jethro. As soon as Elly gets back from the Drysdale, she can milk this here goat.
Mr. Drysdale sure has got a nice house, ain't he, Granny?
Yep. Nice house, nice car, nice job. But the evil of drink has sure laid a heavy hand on his heart. Never forget, Elly, drinking is a curse.
But you take a drink now and then, Granny.
Never more than a thimbleful. Oh, Elly, you might have to hold Mrs. Drysdale while I spoon the sobering up mash down her.
I'll throw a double scissors and an arm lock on her.
Just so you don't cut off her wind, if she can't breathe.
Yes?
Howdy. We've come to see Miss Drysdale.
I'm sorry, madam, but Mrs. Drysdale cannot be disturbed.
Are you her kin?
I'm a butler.
Oh, that must have been her maiden name. You were taking care of her, are you?
I am a butler, madam.
Well, I'm glad to see that her family ain't ashamed to help her.
Whom shall I say called?
Well, this here's Granny, and I'm Elly May. Pa and Jethro would have come too, but they're busy with the cattle.
Very good.
Hold on now. We've come to see Miss Drysdale.
Mrs. Drysdale is indisposed, madam. She is not receiving.
Oh, still sleeping it off, huh? Well, when she comes to, you just spoon half of this down her and then stand back.
Yeah, she'll commence to doing some tall jumping.
Don't bite you. We'll be back later with the goat's milk.
Want me to stay and help you do for Miss Drysdale?
We are managing, thank you.
Are you doing the washing and the cleaning and the cooking for her?
Certainly not.
Oh, just letting it pile up on her, huh?
I am a butler.
Want me to haul him out of there, Randy, and wrestle him down?
Kin folks have certain rights. Family comes first.
He sure is proud of that family name, ain't he?
Yeah. To hear him talk, the butlers don't get wet when it rains.
Did you say something, dear? Well, speak up, dear. Can I get you something? Come in.
I beg your pardon, sir. The butler said some people from a ranch brought this for Madame.
From a ranch?
Well, he said they mentioned cattle. They called themselves Granny and Elly May.
The Clampetts. They haven't gone to Palm Springs.
Jethro, get him in through that gate. That's the way.
Suey, 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 pick, pick,
Ah! Get in there.
Oh, get in there, Pig. Get in, Pig. Come on. Get Pig, Pig. That's the way. Suey.
No, surely not. Marie, tell me I'm hearing things.
You're hearing things, sir. Cows, chickens, pigs, goats.
Never mind.
Anything I can do, sir?
Pray, Marie. Pray.
Hold your horses, I'm a-coming. Oh, howdy, Mr. Drysdale. Did your wife take
Elly
a...
May? Where's your father?
He's tending the cattle.
He brought cattle into this beautiful estate?
No, he called on the telephone, and some men brought him in a truck. Yes, sir. I'm just fixing to go milk the goat. Come on out to stock pen.
Stock pen?
Yes, sir, Mr. Drysdale. I finally took your advice and put some of my money into stock. How's that goat milk, Elly?
Just fine, Pa.
As sure as a dandy pen, Mr. Drysdale.
Yeah, good stout fence around the outside. Of course, that one across the middle ain't so much. Bulls already jumped it twice, and it ain't even mating season. Got ourselves some mighty fine-looking stock. Of course, they need a little fattening up.
Mr. Drysdale happy to see him?
Granny, he was so happy he couldn't talk. He just kind of hung on a fence and made little gurgling noises in his throat.
Well, that poor man has some joy coming to him.
I'm glad to be able to help him to forget his trouble for a spell.
Here's the goat's milk, Granny.
Oh, good, Elly. Now, you run that right over to Mr. Drysdale. That sobering up mash smarts considerable unless you follow it up with fresh goat's milk.
Elly, Mr. Drysdale ever find his tongue?
Yeah, Pa. Whilst I was milking the goat, I heard him kind of mumbling like he was giving thanks. He says, "Oh, what have I done to deserve this?"
Lord love him. Ain't that pitiful? Hurry, child, now hurry.
You know, Granny, it gives a person a mighty good feeling to help a neighbor.
You betcha. And he needs us, because his wife's kin ain't no help.
Who's that?
That high and mighty Mr. Butler. That's who came to the door when Elly and me took the mash over. Wouldn't let us see Miss Drysdale.
Well, now, you can't hardly blame him for not wanting folks to see it.
Uncle Jed, the bull jumped that little fence again, so I tied him back over on his side.
Where's Mr. Drysdale? I asked him to come in for some coffee.
It was the funniest thing what happened to him. You know how he was hanging on the fence of the stock pen, kind of gurgling and mumbling happy-like?
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden, he points up towards his house and says, "My wife, that's her window." Then he goes tearing off into the bushes like a bear was after him.
She took some mash and he seen her jumping.
Looks like Elly's gonna get there with the goat's milk just in time.
Oh, Sonny. Sonny, your mumsy just had the most ghastly dream. I was going to see our new neighbors, the Clampetts, and suddenly this dreadful giant appeared with a huge gun and shot my beautiful fox fur. Isn't that the most dreadful... Claude, what are you eating? Oh, did Ravenswood bring my darling boy some nice scotch? Claude. Claude! Marie! Marie, come and get Claude!
What's the matter, dear?
Claude, he's having a seizure or something.
Is something wrong?
Yes, Marie. Open the window.
Yes, let's have some fresh air. No. You take Claude to the doctor. I'll get the window. Well, darling, how do you feel?
Dreadful. My nerves are shattered. Open the window, dear.
Well, it might not be good for you, Margaret.
Oh, don't be silly, Milburn. I need oxygen. Besides, I adore the fragrance of that jasmine that grows on the fence of that tennis court next door. Now, open the window.
All right, dear, but first I have a surprise.
Surprise?
Don't move. I'll be right back.
Granny, that there butler fella wouldn't let me through that door again. And he wouldn't take this milk, neither.
Why not?
He said he wouldn't touch nothing more from us without it was sterilized.
What's sterilized?
Oh, we had that in school once. That means soaked in alcohol.
Alcohol?
Appears to me like Mr. Drysdale's got 2 drinkers on his hands.
Mrs. Drysdale must be in terrible shape. Fighting mean. Scratching and clawing people and everything.
How do you know?
I heard her yelling and screaming clean from upstairs. She says, Marie, Marie, come and get Claude. Sure enough, pretty soon, this poor girl come a-running down yelling. Take me to the doctor. I got Claude.
Family or no family, that woman needs help, and by thunder, she's gonna get it.
Surprise! Surprise!
Milburn, have you taken leave of your senses? You know I'm much too nervous to watch television.
But, darling, the doctors in Boston said your nerves were just fine.
Those Boston doctors. They had the audacity to tell me that I was perfectly healthy. I said, I'm not paying you all that money to tell me I'm healthy. Milburn, I do not want to watch television.
Well, you don't have to watch it, dear. Just listen. There's an exciting Western on.
Weston, Milburn, shut that off and open the window.
I will. Oh, there we are.
Milburn, are you going to open the window or am I?
I am, dear. There, you see, the cattlemen and the sheepmen are fighting it out.
Well, if you won't turn it off, I will.
Oh, dear, I do admit that's a very old plot, but I'm sure we can get something better.
That medical program, go back to that.
Well, don't you think that's a bit depressing?
I want the medical program.
All right.
Milburn, I still hear the cattle and the goats.
Yes, you see, this is the latest thing in television program. A medical western.
A medical western?
Yes, I think it's called Sagebrush Surgeon. That's the window he pointed to right there.
Gotta get some fresh goat's milk up to that woman some way.
I could shinny up the tree and climb right in that window.
Oh, Jethro, it ain't fitting for a man to be in a woman's bedroom.
How about me? No, Ellie. You're too young to handle somebody wrestling in the grip of old John Barleycorn. I gotta get up there and have a goat handy to milk ever so often.
I think I got it figured out, Granny. I'll get a rope, throw it over that limb, hoist you up to the window. Jethro, you get that Mr. Butler away from the front door. Then, Ellie, you take the nanny goat, lead it upstairs to her room for Granny.
All right, Paul. But that little goat ain't gonna do nothing unless it's got that little chicken sitting on his back.
That's all right. Raw egg ain't gonna do Mrs. Drysdale a bit of harm. Margaret, what are you doing?
Packing. I'm leaving immediately.
Oh, don't leave me. I love you.
I love you too, Milburn. Why don't you come to Boston with me? You haven't seen Sonny for a long time.
I don't understand. Why have you suddenly decided to go back to Boston?
To see those doctors. Let them dare to tell me now I don't have a nervous condition. I'm even having hallucinations. It's wonderful.
Hallucinations?
I just saw a witch fly by that window, and there's a goat in the bathtub with a chicken riding on its back. Oh, you couldn't see them, dear. Only someone with my shattered nervous system. There goes the witch again. Oh, Melvin, I'm the happiest woman in the world. It's marvelous. Wait until those doctors hear this.
Can't get in the attic and she won't open the window. Heist me up again.
Here, Melvin. Let's have a vitamin toast to my coming triumph.
It's too late, Jed.
What do you mean, Granny?
We didn't get to her in time. Now she's got her husband on the stuff.
Oh, howdy, ma'am. It's me again. I just want to thank you for everything. Stock got here fine. Oh, excuse me. It looks like I got some company. Howdy there. Come in, come in. Just about to sit down and have myself a bowl of Kellogg's cornflakes. Glad to have you join me. Ain't nothing like cornflakes to keep a feller going. Special nice if you can catch yourself a little fresh fruit. Excuse me, but for a fancy dresser, you're a mite shy, ain't you?
Caretaker?
Clampett.
The old goat, sir.
Well, maybe you all join me.
K-E-double-L-O double good Kellogg's best to you.
The Beverly Hillbillies has been presented by Kellogg's Corn Flakes. From Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here? Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Come along and visit with the Clampett family as they take you to their mansion in the hills of Beverly. And when they do, you'll run into a friend of theirs you've met, that good old friend with filter blend, Winston cigarette. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
Elly May Clampett. Why, you the prettiest thing I ain't never in all my born days. How'd an old mountain goat like me ever get a young'un like you? You're a queen. That's what you are in that shiny dress standing there. You're a queen.
Feel it, Paul. It's slicker than a toad's belly.
I'll give you if it ain't. What kind of dress they call that?
This is what you call a ball gown.
A ball gown. Well, you's even catching on to what they're named.
Well, Miss Hathaway, she pinned a piece of paper onto every dress she got me, telling what it was for.
You better tote along the shotgun, keep fellas away.
Oh, no, Paul. That's what I'm going out for, to meet some fellas.
Hallelujah. You know, you're going to find out something I've been saying is the truth. You don't have to dress up in boys' clothes to have fun with boys.
I'm going to keep my promise, Paul. I ain't going to wear nothing but dresses for 3 whole days.
And I'm going to keep my promise, too. If you don't have just as much fun as you did climbing trees and wrestling, you can go back to wearing your pants and shirt.
Goodbye, Paul.
What you doing? Killing ants?
Hey, this place ain't got no ants.
I'll tell you something else it ain't got. That's me. I'm gonna pack up and go home.
Wait a minute. Hold on there. This is home.
Not to me, it ain't. And for my part, they can give Beverly Hills back to the Indians. Or whoever else was fool enough to come here in the first place.
Come on, let's go in here and sit down, and we'll talk this whole thing over. You just got your back up because the police made us get rid of all our cows and pigs and chickens and stuff.
Well, that didn't help none. But if they don't allow folks to have stock, why have they got that all-fired fancy stock pen down there?
Well, Granny, it turned out that there was something called a tennis court.
What in tarnation is a tennis?
I don't know, but one of these days we'll get us a pair of them and go to raise them out there.
Well, you go to raising them. I'm going back home, where I can get some good things in life, like hog jowls and possum shanks.
Ah, hold on, Granny. Jethro's out hunting possums right now.
He won't find none. I've been all over these Beverly Hills, and I tell you, it ain't easy. Climbing fences and walls and jumping over hedges to get around those cement ponds where there are a lot of half-naked women laying there smearing themselves with oil and yelling at you to get out, get out. I tell you, Jed, this place is full of the laziest, greasiest, unfriendliest mess of people I ever did lay my eyes on.
Here's Jethro. Hi, boy. What'd you get?
I got chased by a fellow with a club.
Now, you hear that, Jed? It says Beverly Hillbillies picking on a little boy like Jed. Come on, Jethro, load up the truck and let's head for home.
Ah, hold on. I think I know what's ailing you two. You're just plain old homesick.
Well, I'm sick of this home, I can tell you that.
Yeah, now I got a surprise. I've been kind of saving. I reckon now's good times any to let the cat out of the bag.
We need pigs and chickens, and he gets us a cat.
Now, that ain't the surprise, Granny. The surprise is Pearl's coming out here.
Ma's coming out here?
Yeah, and she's bringing your sister Jethrine.
Hot diggity dog.
Yeah, I wrote her a letter. I said, Pearl, I says, why don't you come out here and bring Jethrine? We got lots of room and plenty to eat, and we sure is a hanker to see you.
Oh, boy. I gotta get us some possum now, because if there's one thing Ma and Jethrine likes, it's grits and possum shanks.
You don't look particular cheered up, Granny.
Jed, you might fool that boy with a story like that, but not me.
What do you mean?
Since when can you write letters?
Hold on, Granny. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Granny, I didn't write that letter by hand.
Held the pencil twist your toes, did you?
No, I wrote it by a new way. The banker's secretary showed me. It's called dictation.
What's dictation?
Oh, it's wonderful, Granny. You just talk, and she writes it down.
She sure must write fast.
Yeah, with a bad hand, too.
She got a bad hand?
This one, she calls it her shorthand.
I don't care how many letters you dictate, Jed. Pearl ain't a-coming out here. Leastwise, not right now.
Oh, sure she is, Granny. She's looking to find a husband for Jethrine.
I'll tell you who Pearl is a-looking to get a husband for. Pearl. And I think she's got her cap set for that oil man that bought your swamp.
Mr. Brewster? Why, he lives clean over to Tulsa.
Yeah, but pumping oil brings him over to your place. And I'll bet you pigs to polecats that when he shows up, Pearl ain't fur behind.
There he is. Hold on, Jeffrey. of all people. Fancy meeting you here. Small world, ain't it?
Yes, it certainly is.
Oh, this here's my daughter, Jethro. This is Mr. Brewster, dear.
I'm pleased to meet you, young lady.
Hi.
May I give you a hand, Mrs. Bodine?
Oh, thank you. Stay in the buggy, dear.
Careful now. There we are. Well, I see you girls are on your way to a Halloween party.
What kind of party?
Halloween.
What's a Halloween?
You don't celebrate Halloween here in the hills?
Well, I never heard of it. What you'd like?
Well, it's an occasion where everyone gets dressed up in their most beautiful clothes.
Oh, these old things, they're just something I threw together myself.
Well, they look like they came from Saks.
Well, they didn't. I made them with store-bought yard goods. Didn't I, Jethro? Yes, sir.
What brings you girls here on this beautiful Indian summer day?
Following you. we was headed this way anyway. I promised to keep an eye on the old home place for Cousin Jed, remember?
Oh, I hope he won't mind that I had a telephone put in the cabin. You see, we're using it as a sort of a field office.
Oh, but he won't mind. Especially if you would show it to me and I could see for myself that there was no damage done to the cabin.
Well, that's quite all right. Come along, huh?
Stay in the buggy, dear.
Well, perhaps you'd like to stretch your legs.
They're long enough now. You know, Jethro's awful tall for age. She takes after her father. Her late father, that is. I'm a widow.
Yes, I believe you told me.
Oh, that's right. That's when you told me you was a widower.
Yes.
You, still are, I suppose.
A widower? No, yes.
Stay in the buggy, dear.
I'm going back where I should have stayed in the first place.
Granny, before you do something you're liable to be sorry for, you better take another look around. See all the nice things we got here that you wouldn't have back home.
Like what?
Like this great big cooking room, for one thing. Why, you could take our whole cabin and put it right in this one room.
Well, if you did that, I might stay.
What about them big ice boxes? You got nothing like them back home?
Didn't need 'em. Got nippy in the fall like the good Lord intended it to. This crazy California stays warm all year round.
That's awful good for growing things. Look at that fruit there. Did you ever in your whole born days ever see anything as pretty as that fruit? Don't spoil neither.
Don't taste neither.
Oh, now.
Jethro ate a whole bunch of them grapes. 2 apples, a pear, and a whole handful of strawberries. And he said there wasn't one bit of juice in the whole kit and caboodle of them. He said it was dry as wax.
Here's a mite dry and gummy. Maybe you ain't supposed to eat this fruit.
That's the trouble with this miserable place. You ain't supposed to do nothing. You ain't supposed to have cows or pigs or chickens. You ain't supposed to fire up the still and make a little moonshine whiskey. Answer me, what can you do in this Beverly Hills?
Well, you can do lots of things, Granny. Things you couldn't do back home.
Name one.
Well, you can call up your friends on the telephone.
No, you can't.
Why not?
'Cause we ain't got no friends, that's why not. There ain't been one neighbor come a-calling on us since we moved in here.
Oh, so that's what's ailing you. Nobody's been coming to call. Well, now you got to remember what Pearl said. This here is Beverly Hills where the movie stars live.
What's that got to do with it? What's that got to do with being friendly?
Nothing. I just thought it might sidetrack you.
Well, it didn't. Movie stars are people just like us, ain't they?
Yeah, certainly prettier. Wouldn't it be worth waiting for if one of these days they come a knock on the door and we go to answer it, we open up the door and standing there would be Mary Pickford.
Mary Pickford?
Yeah, with the golden curls hanging down her back and her pretty little rosebud mouth saying friendly things like, howdy there, I'm Mary Pickford. Oh, you'd say to that?
I'd say, who's Mary Pickford? That's what I
Granny, Granny, she's America's sweetheart. You know that movie house where Pearl plays piano on Saturday nights?
I heard of it.
Well, she says little old Mary is everybody's favorite.
Well, tell me this. If Mary Pickford moved in that little cabin down the creek from us back home, what would we do?
Oh, we'd gone calling and brought her over a mess of pone and skinned possum.
Yeah. And has Mary Pickford brought us a mess of pone and skinned possum? No, she ain't.
You gotta remember, Granny, she probably spent 4 or 5 hours a day just fooling with and combing that beautiful curls hanging clear down
Uncle
to...
Jed!
Well, hello, Jethro. What'd you get this time?
I got arrested. Yeah. Policeman, he took my gun away. He said they don't allow hunting in Beverly Hills.
That does it. That does it.
Then he pointed to old Duke here. He said that dog had his rabies shot. And I said, no, sir, that dog ain't had nothing shot. I'm careful with a gun. What'd he say? He said, oh, wise guy, huh? So he put Duke and me in his police car. But we jumped out and run. Oh, is Ma and Jethro here yet?
No, when they ain't a-coming. Now, if you want to see your ma and your sis, you pack up that truck, and you and me will skedaddle back home where folks is friendly.
Now, Granny. Oh, gone if she ain't the muleyest little woman. Granny, now just a minute. Now, Granny, will you just let me say one thing?
Well, you be quick, 'cause I got a long trip ahead of me.
Granny, I know it ain't been easy for you out here. New things is always vexing, especially at your age. But I'm bound and determined to keep this family together. And if you go back to the hills, we's all going with you. I'm asking you please to stay. Not for my sake, but for Elly May. Granny, what this place has done for her is a plain miracle. Why, that wild Injun has become a grand lady. I wish you could have seen her go out that door looking like a queen in a picture book. I tell you, I just wanted to sit down and bawl, the way you done when I married her ma. Now, she's just... She's out there now. Not just wait, Granny. Wait till you see. In here, Elly May.
Huh? You sure was right. Oh, Huggin, you don't have to wear boys' clothes to have fun with boys.
May, you promised me you wouldn't wrestle.
I ain't been wrestling.
Then what have you been doing in your ball gown?
Doing what I'm supposed to do, playing ball. Oh, I made 2 touchdowns and kicked 3 field goals.
Well, your cousin certainly seems anxious for you to come to Beverly Hills, Mrs. Bodine. Will you? Mrs. Bodine?
Yeah.
Will you?
Yeah. Will I what?
Go to Beverly Hills to visit your cousin, Mr. Clampett.
Oh, well, not right now. I'm awful busy. You see, I do fancy sewing and hat making and give beauty courses and personality building and music lessons. Then on Saturday, I play the piano over the movie show to Oxford. And then, of course, there are my young ones, Jethro and Jethrine. Of course, they're no trouble. Jethro's in California, and Jethrine, she's fixing to get married.
Well, congratulations. When's the wedding?
Soon as she finds a fella.
Well, you certainly are a busy woman, Mrs. Bodine.
Yeah. As Cousin Jed used to say, Pearl, he'd say, the fella that gets you sure don't have to worry about supporting you.
This is the phone I was telling you about. It's called a field telephone. Now, with this, I can communicate directly with the men working at the drilling site.
Any young men down there?
Oh, yes.
Any unmarried young men?
I'm sure there are.
Any tall, unmarried young men?
Well, they're probably all sizes.
Yeah. Suppose it gets pretty lonesome working down there.
Well, it's very likely. This is rather an isolated area.
Any specially tall, specially lonesome, unmarried young ones?
I I don't think I can call any by name, no.
Uh-huh. Well, I was just wondering.
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you tell me where the oil drillers are working today? Well, now. What have we here? Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, and pretty, too. You know what, honey? I got something here just for you. A genuine French garter imported all the way from Paris, France. They usually sell for 50 cents, but, honey, you can have it for a quarter. Listen, honey, I'm gonna be around a couple of days. You busy Saturday night? Well, you are now. And there's a dance over in Hooterville. Ooh-wee! I bet you're an armful of mama. I mean it, honey. I like big girls. You just do things to me. You carry me away.
All right.
Hey, what's going on here?
Oh, there you are. What are you doing?
I'm figuring. And I figure best when I'm fishing.
Ain't no fish in there.
I ain't fishing for fish. I'm fishing for figuring.
Hey, what kind of figuring you fishing for?
I'm fishing to figure how I can get home.
Now, Granny, I've been doing some figuring, too. You know, I think I got it figured out how come the neighbors ain't come to visit us.
I'm listening.
Well, I got it figured. Out here in Beverly Hills, instead of them coming to see us, we go to see them.
How come?
I don't know how come. That's just the way I got it figured.
Mighty convenient figuring.
Granny, it wouldn't do no harm and to give it a try. A lot of things is different out here.
Well, I'll fish on it for a spell. Take possum.
Beat like a whale.
Who said there ain't fish in here?
Well, that's the prettiest I ever seen.
Ah, I gotcha, you rascal. I'm gonna throw you right in the frying pan. This thing ain't nothing but skin. That's your Beverly Hills for you. All flashy and show on the outside and nothing on the inside where it counts.
Fishing, people, is two different things. We're going to calling on our neighbors, and then we'll do our judging. Well, let's see now. Which neighbor shall we call on first? Mr. Drysdale's off in Boston with his missus, so let's go this way.
If you ask me, let's go back that way.
Now, Granny, you promise. Come on, everybody, let's go.
You reckon they'll give us a mess of pone or something, Pa?
Or maybe some salted down possum.
Probably so lie on us.
I'm not expecting anyone, Agnes.
Oh, it's probably just them children playing trick-or-treat, ma'am.
Howdy, ma'am. We's the Clampetts.
You got something for us?
Jethro.
Aren't you rather big for this?
Yes, ma'am, we are. In fact, I don't see how anybody gets through that little door.
Just a minute. Come in. Come in and set a spell, as you folks stay up in the hill.
Well, thank you. We got a lot of calls to make. But, this here is Granny.
Howdy. Hello?
I'm my daughter, Elly.
Oh.
My nephew, Jethro.
Oh.
And I'm Jed.
Hello, Jed. I'm Agnes. Just call me Aggie.
Mighty nice place you got here, Aggie.
Oh, shucks, 'tain't nothing but a heap of bricks, but we call it home.
Well, sure is nice to meet up with you.
Oh, now wait just a minute. I got something for you. Wait a second. Here you go, Granny, and Elly, that's you, and Jethro, you and Jed. Here.
Yeah, thank you. That's mighty neighborly of you. And you must come and see us sometime.
Yeah, we'll go hunting together.
Hey, Aggie, you like to play football?
are there?
Well, there's a whole bunch of fellas that plays in the pasture down the way a piece. And they'd like it just fine if I could bring some more girls along.
Now, don't forget.
Please, can we go out now?
Not yet, children. Not till it gets dark.
Ain't that the most pitiful thing?
Heart-rendering. Just heart-rendering.
Nice-looking woman, friendly as you please. But them young'uns is the homeliest I ever see.
Wonder she didn't want to come a-calling on us.
Yeah, reckon I'd stay home, too, if my kids looked like that.
Kid, I ain't never gonna say a bad word about nobody.
I know what you mean. Diggies, every house we went to, they was nice to us, wasn't they?
Sure was, Jed.
Hey, listen, everybody. I got an idea. Let's call up Cousin Pearl and tell her to come on out here.
Uncle Jed, you can't call Ma on the telephone.
Drysdale said we could call anybody we had a mind to.
Well, Ma, she ain't got no telephone at home.
Don't matter. She ain't never home nohow.
The way I look at it, you can't never tell what you can do until you try.
Don't forget to spin the wheel.
Howdy, ma'am. I want to talk to Pearl Bodine back in Oxford.
That's right, operator. J.D. Clampett in Beverly Hills.
Jed's sure gonna be surprised to hear me talking at him on this thing.
Oh, they're ready to make the connection.
You betcha it is.
Hello, Pearl, you old rascal. What you doing down there?
Huh, there ain't Pearl. This here's Elly.
Jethro talk in a minute, but first I want to say something. You gotta come out here to Beverly Hills and bring Jethro. If she can't get a husband out here, there ain't no hope. You ain't never seen so many homely young'uns in all your born days.
Yes, Pearl, folks was real nice to us. They give us some candy, some chomping gum, and some fancy store-bought cookies.
And some Winston cigarettes.
And some Winston cigarettes. Winston cigarettes?
Oh, why, certainly.
I tell you, Pearl, Winston is good smoking. Sure wish you could taste it.
I am tasting it, Granny.
The dickens you say? You mean you're getting it clean down there?
That's right.
Well, here, Pearl. Take another puff.
All right. Granny, that's what you call flavor.
Well, dingies. This is the doggonedest invention that ever was invented.
It sure is, Granny. I don't think I'll ever smoke anything else.
You always were a smart one.
Winston tastes good.
Like a cigarette had order.
The Beverly Hillbillies has been presented by Winston. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you'll try Winston, because Winston tastes good, like a cigarette should.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here? Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Come along and visit with the Clampett family as they learn the simple pleasures of the hills of Beverly. That includes the products of your sponsor of the week, the cereals of Kellogg's, Kellogg's of Battle Creek. K-E-double-L-O double good Kellogg's, best to you.
Can she bake a cherry pie, Billy boy, Billy boy? Can she bake a cherry pie, Charmin' Billy? She can bake a cherry pie, quick as a cat can wink her eye. She's a young thing and cannot leave her mother.
Well, Granny, did you pick out your spot yet for the garden?
Yep. I kind of favor a patch right close here to the house.
I'll plow you up something there directly.
Yeah, just enough for some onions and taters and some Rudy Bakers. And a few rows of corn.
Paul? Morning, Granny. Paul, can I help you with the plowing and the spading?
Well, Ellie, I'd rather you put on one of them pretty dresses that Miss Hathaway got you.
But, Paul, I can plow better in these clothes.
Plowing. You know, Ellie, I'd like you to wear one of them dresses kind of regular. Wouldn't you, Granny?
You're mighty fetching in a dress, Elly.
Prettier than a tub of fresh churned butter.
Paul, if I go to wearing them dresses, Jethro will make fun of me.
I reckon he hadn't better. Now, you run along and put on something with skirts.
All right, but he hadn't better make fun.
He won't, he won't. You know, speaking of Jethro, I think he's got himself a sweetheart.
The banker's secretary?
That's right. They was out together last night.
What'd they do?
Well, I don't rightly know for sure, but it was something to do with bowls.
All you do with bowls is eat.
Yeah, I reckon that's what it was then. She said she was going to take him bowling.
You know, Jed, I kind of like that Miss Hathaway.
Yeah, I think she kind of likes us, too.
Oh, those marvelous Clampetts. Those simple, rugged mountain people. The more I see of them, the more I am impressed.
Yes, now
Never have I observed such strength of body, mind, and character.
Yes, now
They stand like boulders in the pebble-strewn landscape of Beverly Hills. Like mighty oaks among bushes. Like
quiet. Now, like I admire them, too. But those boulders need polishing, and we've got to put some city leaves on those oaks before my wife gets back from Boston.
Incidentally, in any endeavor requiring physical strength, they are most exceptional. I took Jethro bowling last night. Here's the bill.
$3,000. How many games did you bowl?
Well, you see, what happened was this. I said to Jethro,
Pick up that bowling ball, she says, and see can you knock over them pins down yonder. They's just sticks. Anyway, I snatches up that rascal, draws back, and lets her fly.
Did you knock down them pins?
Yeah, the pins, the pin boy, the end of the building, a brick wall, and a signboard down on Sunset Boulevard.
I bet you Miss Jane didn't do that good.
Well, she didn't even try. But she just looks at me and says, Jethro, you're strong as an ox and twice as handsome.
Ain't no two ways about it, Granny. That city girl is sweet on this boy.
I reckon so, the way she's bragging on his looks. You are handsomer than an ox.
Thank you, Granny. Cousin Ellie, you're a city girl now. Do you think...
You see there, Paul? I told you this would happen if I took to wearing these dresses. You call me that again, and I'll turn you every way but loose.
Didn't say nothing but city gal.
Elly May, Clampett! You get up from there or you're going across my knee.
And Jethro, you're going across mine.
What did I do that was so all-fired bad? In that dress, she looks just like a city gal.
You did it again!
I reckon we better go out there and see she don't hurt him.
Elly
Jethro, now that we living in a city, you got to learn to use the steps.
You'll be happy to know that I'm making splendid progress with Elly May. She's turning into quite a lady.
Fine. But it's Jed, Granny, and Jethro we've got to work on. Clothes, manners, the works. What have you done about servants?
That's a problem, Chief. They're basically opposed to the whole idea of able-bodied people letting others do their work for them.
Well, that's a refreshing attitude. But we've got to get a skeleton staff in there somehow. A combination butler and valet for Jed and Jethro. Who help them assemble a wardrobe, teach them how to... Ravenswood.
Your butler?
Oh, he's never been my butler. Came with my wife like an overweight dowry. Been in her family for years. And with Margaret in Boston, I can certainly spare him, plus her upstairs girl, Marie.
I doubt if you can sell Mr. Clampett on the idea of servants.
Get him on the phone. I'll make him think he's doing me a favor by taking him off my hands for a while.
Right, Chief?
She had not have thrown me down on my head like that. What if I'd have been carrying a frog in my hat?
You ain't supposed to be wearing your hat in the house.
Well, Granny, where's a fella going to carry a frog? They jump out of your pockets.
Hello? Oh, howdy there, Mr. Drysdale. Glad to have you back from Boston. Your missus come with you? Oh, that's too bad. I know her and Granny had hit it off like two sows in a mud waller.
Yes, I'm sure they would. No recipes? No, my wife doesn't do much cooking. No, I doubt if she ever made grits and hog jowls.
Well, how about mustard greens and possum belly? No? Oh, then. Pone and squirrel shank? Boiled chicken hawk. Well, say, she don't do much cooking, does she?
No. Well, the reason I called Mr. Clampett is I have a butler. Well, he really belongs to my wife's family, but he's been with us ever since we were married. And I was wondering if you'd let him come and stay with you for a while.
You mean board with us?
Well, I guess you could call it that.
Who's going to board with us?
Just a minute. Some kin of Miss Drysdale named Butler. Why, we be just...
That's that no good fat rascal that wouldn't let Elly and me in to help Miss Drysdale when she was sobering up.
Hello? Granny was talking at me, but she's done now.
Oh, no, she ain't.
Just a minute. Granny, let me hear the men out, and then we can talk it over. Yes, sir, Mr. Drysdale. I'm a-listening now.
Well, in addition to Ravenswood, he's the butler, you can also have my wife's upstairs girl, Marie. Margaret may be away for some time, and I have absolutely no use for him.
Well, I sure would like to oblige. Me and Granny will talk it over, and I'll call you.
Oh, thank you. You'll be doing me a great favor.
I was glad to help out when I can.
Thank you again, Mr. Clampett, and goodbye.
Is somebody coming to live with us, Uncle Jed?
Maybe, Jethro, maybe. Why don't you go out and make up with your cousin Elly?
Okay, Uncle Jed.
All right, Jed. Let's have it. We going to board that butler fella?
Well, Mr. Drysdale will take it mighty kindly if we did. He says he ain't got no use for him.
I don't like him myself.
Granny, you only met him once?
Once was enough. I asked him real nice. I said, are you a-doing for Miss Drysdale that she's feeling poorly? Are you doing the washing and the scrubbing and the cleaning for her? And he looks right down his nose at me and says, Madam, I am a butler.
I reckon he is proud of his name. Kind of fancy. Ravenswood Butler.
I don't care if it's Stonewall Jackson. And I think Mr. Drysdale has a lot of gall to ask us to take his wife's kinfolks off his hands.
Well, now, I'm mighty beholden to him. You know he's keeping my $25 million in his bank, and he ain't charging me one penny to do it.
That's his business. You didn't ask him to do it.
Well, now, Granny, if it was just Mr. Butler, I might agree with you, but there's a sad side to the story, too.
What's that?
Well, you've heard of Mr. Drysdale speak of his stepson. That's his wife's boy by her first marriage.
The one they call Sonny?
Yeah. Well, it seems she's got a girl, too. And there must be something wrong with her.
What?
Well, I don't know, but they keep her upstairs.
No.
Yeah. He spoke of her as my wife's upstairs girl.
Oh, the poor thing.
Her name's Marie, and he'd like us to take her and Mr. Butler.
Doggone it, Jed. We got enough to do to take care of this big place without... He didn't say what was ailing her, huh?
Well, no, but if you ask me, they ain't eating right over there.
No.
You know what Mr. Drysdale told me?
What?
His wife ain't never cooked grits and hog jaws.
Oh, go on.
That's a fact. Nor mustard greens and possum belly, nor pone and squirrel shank, nor even boiled chicken hawk.
Land of mercy.
You can't hardly blame Mr. Butler for getting a mite cranky. Man don't eat right, he gets that way.
Well, dear, I reckon it won't do no harm to take him in for a spell.
Granny, for such a little woman, you got an awful big heart.
Well, I feel sorry for the poor girl. But the first time that fancy pants Mr. Butler looks down his nose at me, I'm gonna chuck him in the cement pond.
Now, I'm doubling your salaries for the length of time you stay at the Clampett home. But if one word of this gets back to my wife in Boston, you're both out of work with no references.
Actually, you will find the Clampetts to be basically fine people. All they need is a little polish.
Polish. They need sandblasting. However, I think Miss Hathaway's plan may overcome their initial resentment of wearing city clothes.
Yes, I think I have devised rather a clever strategy. To put it briefly and succinctly, my strategy is as follows. I shall propose to the Clampetts that they sit for a family portrait. As you know, my hobby is painting. Now, I shall suggest to the Clampetts that their attire match their background, which is, of course, their beautiful mansion. They will no doubt see the logic of my didactic approach, accede to my wishes, don suitable raiment, and, once they have seen themselves thus attired, take...
We're in. Let's go.
We forgot to dust the stair rail.
I'll do it, Granny.
Wearing boys' clothes does come in handy sometimes.
Hi, Ginger Granny. I think we got her all spick and span for the company.
They ain't a speck of dirt no place. Can I go swimming now?
Me too?
As soon as we help Granny clean up the kitchen. There goes that music again.
Sure is good. You ever find out where that comes from?
Know 'em, Granny. Every single time I commence to looking for it, somebody comes to the door.
Nobody to the door now?
There will be. You'll see.
Doggies, that's nice. Let's all pitch in and see can we find it.
You're wasting your time. I'm a-telling you, before you can find it, somebody will come to the door. There, you see? Happens every time.
Now remember, Ravenswood, I'm counting on you. Don't fail me.
You have my word, sir. I've been butler and valet since boyhood, as was my father before me and his father before him. And I've yet to meet the man or woman who posed a social problem too difficult for me to handle.
That's the spirit.
Howdy there.
Remember me, Mr. Butler?
No! Ravenswood, come back! You gave your word! Come back, you coward! Come back here! I'll cut off your fringe benefits!
Ravenswood probably forgot something. He'll return shortly. Meanwhile, this is Marie. This is Drysdale's upstairs girl. Marie, J.D. Clampett.
Howdy.
Jethro Bodine. Elly May Clampett. And Grandma Clampett.
No, ma'am. I am a Moses.
Pardon?
Granny's related on my wife's side. They's the Moses family from Tennessee.
Then your name is Granny Moses? Grandma Moses.
That's right.
There was a very famous Grandma Moses who painted primitives.
I've whitewashed a few myself.
I'll show Marie to her room.
Listen, Marie, honey. Over here, you've got the run of the house. You don't have to hide upstairs. Ain't nothing wrong with that girl, but what some good cooking will cure her. She's half starved.
Poor thing is so weak her knees keeps a buckling on her.
She's kind of pretty, though, for a skinny girl.
Just wait till she gets some mess of Granny's grits and hog gels. That'll fill her out.
Till I'll get some of cooking. Guess that butler fellow will be coming back directly.
Oh, and Granny, can we have some of that salted down possum belly that Ma sent us?
Well, I reckon it is kind of a company meal.
Granny, open up a jar of them pickled crow gizzards.
Now, Jed, we don't want to spoil these folks. They might get to thinking we eat like that every day.
Elly May, will you do something nice for me?
Sure, Paul.
Will you go get into that pretty dress again?
Oh, Paul, Jethro will make fun of me.
No, I won't, Elly May. Cross my heart.
Why,
That's my darling. Thank you. And then you be real nice to Marie. She's had a bad life.
I'll be nice to her. She's pretty.
Let's all be nice.
Far. I wanted to go swimming. Now I gotta go put on an old dress.
Cousin Ellie, you look awful pretty in a dress. Honest you do.
Do I look pretty in that there city girl?
You look prettier than that there city girl.
That did it. Come on and fight.
Now, Ellie,
There's nothing to be afraid of, Ravenwood. The fact that they're big and strong doesn't mean they're violent. Elephants can be gentle. Now, Ravenswood, your appearances deceive you. Oh, really? Oh, I do admit on the surface they do seem a bit rough, even cruel. But I assure you underneath they are placid, kindly, and gentle. See?
You shouldn't have called me a city girl.
Elly May, leave me alone, please, Elly May.
City girl.
Mr. Butler, don't never say anything nice to that girl. She'll kill you.
Come back here! Coward! Come back! You promised!
I wonder, Granny, when Mr. Drysdale said he didn't have no use for Mr. Butler, he sure wasn't fooling. I just seen him cut through the brush chasing him with a stick.
If Mr. Butler gets sassy with me, I'll chase him with more than a stick.
Jed, Ellie throwed me down on my head again. If she don't stop that, I'm gonna get a headache.
Stop riling her, Jethro.
But golly, all I said was she's pretty. That ain't no call to bust a fella's head.
Pardon.
Oh, howdy, Marie.
Hi, Marie.
Are you hungry, darling?
No, madame.
I'm whooping up something here that'll just set your mouth to watering.
Put some strength in your limbs, too.
Tell her what it is, Granny.
A great big mess of grits and hog jowls.
And salted down possum belly.
Oh, pickled crow gizzards. How you like that?
Don't tell me that child ain't hungry. Why, she's ready to drop in her tracks. Set her at the table and I'll dish up a mess.
No, please. I only came in to bring you a message from Miss Hathaway. She's preparing to paint a family portrait. And she wishes to know if you all will sit for her. May I tell her that you will sit for her?
Well, yeah, I reckon we'll do that.
Merci.
Well, let's get at it.
It's all right to talk while we're sitting.
Yeah, I reckon.
I found out something about Marie.
What?
She's scared of Mr. Butler.
How'd you know?
I asked her to go swimming with me, and she says he wouldn't allow it.
What business is it of his?
That's what I says. And she says he's a butler, and I'm just an upstairs girl. I got to do whatever he said.
We'll see about this. Ah, dingies. Let's hit Mr. Drysdale, find him, and give him a whooping. I'll catch him, Granny.
Oh, Ellie, you go put a dress on like you promised.
Uncle Jed, I'm going swimming. If I see him, I'll fetch him in.
Don't go jumping in with your clothes on again.
Oh, I won't, Uncle Jed. Miss Hathaway, she gave me a present last night. She says it's something special for her to go swimming in.
What'd she give you?
Oh, pair of trunks.
You go swimming in the cement pond. Boy, it's too big to go swimming in a trunk.
Ed,
In a pair of them.
I got a feeling that Mr. Butler feller is going to be trouble.
Yeah, we can handle him.
Well, I still say that I think Mr. Drysdale has a lot of nerve to ask us to board his wife's relations.
Maybe he just fed up. Man can get awful tired of having his wife's kin underfoot all the time. He told me that Butler fella had been living with him ever since they was married. I declare some in-laws latch on to free room and board like leeches. It takes a mule kick to jar 'em loose. You can't hardly blame Mr. Drysdale for trying to get shed of a critter like that.
Is that the way you feel?
You bet it is.
I'll see how fast I can get packed. I'll get out from underfoot just as quick as I can.
Wait a minute.
No, Jed. I know when I'm not wanted. It don't take no mule kick to get shed of me.
Darnation, Granny, well, I wasn't talking about you. We couldn't get along without you.
No, Jed. I'm just a burdensome old woman, no good to nobody. Why don't you throw me down the well? Go ahead, pick me up, carry me out to the well, and throw me in.
Stop talking like that.
Uncle Jed! Uncle Jed, look here! I caught him. Mr. Drysdale, he gave out, but I caught this fat little rascal. What are you here? You gonna whip me, Granny?
No, Jethro. I'm going to get thrown down the well. Why don't you throw us both down the well together? We're just no good leeches both.
Mr. Butler, I'm sorry Jethro got mighty rough with you. He don't mean no harm. He's just an overgrown boy. Now, we's all mighty pleasure to have you come and stay with us, and as long as you behave yourself, won't be no trouble. Oh, I'm Jed Clampett.
Sir.
This here's Granny. I reckon you and Jethro done met.
Yeah.
Sir.
Oh, and this here is my daughter, Elly May.
Enchantée, mademoiselle. Vous êtes très belle, très charmant, très ravissant.
Don't you dare use them kind of words to a lady.
What do you say, Granny?
I ain't sure, but it sounded dirty.
You said your daughter was pretty and charming. Oh, you're so different from all the others. You're like a beautiful city girl.
He had not have said that.
Oh, Marie.
Oui, Miss Jane.
Didn't you say the Clampetts had agreed to sit for their portrait?
Oui. They said they would do it.
Well, what is it? I believe it to be self-preservation, madam. No!
Don't take to the stairs. She'll catch you sure.
I say now, let me go now, really. No!
Sounds like Elly got him.
I'm afraid so.
Will somebody please tell me what is transpiring?
Uncle Jed. Elly throwed him all right, but I caught him before he hit the floor.
So here you are. Well, now, everything seems to be fine. You see, Ravenswood, didn't I tell you the Clampetts were kindly, gentle people?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
We're gonna have to feed up both of them, Granny. His knees is buckling, too.
I shall call it Invictus.
Ma'am?
Invictus, you know. Or perhaps you don't. Thank whatever gods may be for your unconquerable soul. Henley.
Yeah.
Jethro, look more thoughtful. That's really a little more than I...
Elly May's got Kellogg's cornflakes.
Well, so she has, but she's not putting on a face like that.
Well, no. She's got Kellogg's cornflakes. I ain't.
You don't have to look quite so sad. You may have some cornflakes as soon as I'm through with the sketch. Unless they're all gone. Do you remember if there's another box? Great! Hold it!
K-E-double-L-O double good Kellogg's best to you.
The Beverly Hillbillies has been presented by Kellogg's Corn Flakes. From Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here. Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolk said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Granny, Elly May, we got a letter from Mom.
What's Jethro yelling about?
Sounded like he said we got a letter from Mom.
What's all the commotion?
Elly says Jethro says Pearl sent us a letter.
A litter of what?
Did you hear what?
No, but I bet you it's kittens.
Probably kittens. Pearl's always trying to give away kittens.
Well, there y'all are.
Where's the kittens, Jethro?
What kitten?
Didn't your ma send us some kittens?
Just a minute. Nope, just a letter.
Jethro, how could you think that kittens would... Well, come on, sit down. Let's hear what Pearl's got to say.
Dear son and kinfolk, I take pen in hand to say we are all fine back here. How are you all out there?
Just fine, Pearl.
That's right.
Jethro, I hope you are making good marks in school out there. Ma thinks I'm going to school. Are you in the 5th grade like you would be here?
Doggy, Jethro, I clean forgot about putting you in school. We're going to have to get you started today.
Can I go too?
Well, no, I think Miss Hathaway's got plans to put you in some girls' school.
Can I go too?
Jethro, I just said it was a girls' school.
That's why I want to go. I like girls.
I don't.
Let's get finished with the letter. After that, we'll take care of school.
Your sister, Jethrine, had a narrow escape. A city dude tried to take advantage of her.
What does that mean, Paul?
Well, well, Granny will explain that to you later. Tell us more about the city dude, Jethro.
His name is Jasper He.
Jasper He?
That's a funny name.
Oh, there's a dot in there. His name is Jasper. He wears patent leather shoes and spats on them.
Don't sound too neat, does he?
He seen your sister at the cabin when I went there to keep an eye on it for Cousin Jed.
I know what Pearl went there to keep an eye on. That Mr. Brewster.
Well, now, Granny, Pearl's a widow woman. She got a right to look.
I ain't knocking it. I got my eyes open myself.
At first, I thought the city dude worked for Mr. Brewster, so I drove back out to the cabin to give him a piece of my mind.
I could put a bug in that Mr. Brewster's ear. Look out for feathers.
Feathers?
The more Pearl has her eye on a man, the more feathers she sticks in her hat.
That's right. 3 and 8 came in flowing 2,000 barrels a day. And it looks like the news strike's going to be even better. There's no doubt about it. This is one of the richest pools we've ever hit. Yep, everything from here is good news. Well, not everything. I'll call you back. Mrs. Bodine, this is a pleasant surprise.
Well, thank you. Although you might not think it's so pleasant when you hear what I have to say.
Oh?
One of them oil fellas working for you has made advances to my daughter.
Made advances?
Well, what would you call being picked up and carried off by brute force?
Well, I'd call that making advances. What's his name?
Jasper Depew.
Jasper Depew.
I ain't seen him myself, but from what Jeff Green tells me, he's a pretty slick article.
Oh.
Oh, Mr. Brewster, you don't know how hard it is for 2 girls living alone like Jeff Green and me. You see, my son Jethro's in California with Cousin Jed, leaving us no man to protect us. I'm a widow woman, you know. I guess wherever you have 2 unattached girls living alone, there's bound to be trouble. Especially when the girls are the kind that men call lookers.
Did you say his name is Depew?
Jasper Depew. Calls himself Jazzbo. Oh, Jeff Green says he's a flashy dresser and a fancy talker and drives a sporty car. Regular big city dude. I guess Jeff Green's kind of like me when it comes to tall, handsome city fellas. I'm just putty in their hands.
Nope, no one by that name working for OK Oil.
You mind if I look?
Oh, well, no, go right ahead.
I'm bound and determined to find the rascal that trifled with the affections of my sweet, innocent, helpless baby girl.
Ma!
Jeff Green, I thought I told you to stay in the buggy.
I seen Jasper Depew coming.
Here?
Yes'm.
Oh, well, thank goodness we got Mr. Brewster to protect us. Oh, there he is.
Mr. Brewster throwed his arms around me and held me in his strong embrace.
What's an embrace, Paul?
Well, that's when folks kind of twine their arms around one another.
You mean like wrestling?
It's sort of like wrestling, except they ain't mad.
It's like wrestling for fun.
I reckon you could see that. Go on, Jethro.
Then we heard a knock on the door, and we knowed it was Jasper He.
Better look for that dot again.
Oh, yeah. We knowed it was Jasper. He was there to get Jethrine. Her beauty had set his heart to burning with flamin' desire.
What's flaming desire, Paul?
Well, Granny will explain that to you later.
Well, I'll try. You're sure counting a heap on my memory.
Read on with your Moore's letter there, Jethro.
Yeah, it's getting good. One city fella's got his arms around Aunt Pearl, and another's waiting at the door to grab Cousin Jethrine.
My only thought was to save my daughter, so I tore loose from Mr. Brewster's embrace. I saw Jethrine heading for the door, so I quick throwed myself betwixt my child and danger. Sweet innocent Jethrine, not knowing better, let that rascal in. He went right to sweet-talking in a voice smoother than fresh churned butter.
Hello again, you great, big, beautiful lump of sugar. I brought you something all the way from Eureka Springs. Genuine orchids growed in a hothouse. And this lovely young girl must be your sister.
I'm her ma.
No.
Yeah.
Well, for Jethrine's beautiful mother, a little gift of genuine French imported perfume all the way from Paris, France.
Oh, well, you had an order. Oh, my goodness. Genuine Paris, France perfume.
Look at that French writing on there. That says, "Ah, d'amour." That means, oh, love.
Ain't he a sport, Ma?
And for Jethrine's handsome father, a genuine cigarette case. Silver.
Thank you, but I am not Jethrine's father.
No, Mr. Brewster ain't my husband. He's just a friend.
Well, any friend of Jethrine's beautiful mother is a friend of mine. This from old Mexico and hammered out of solid silver by the Aztecs Indians hundreds of years ago.
Well, that brings up an interesting question. Why would the Aztecs make cigarette cases when they had no cigarettes?
That is an interesting question. I'll have to ask some of my Aztecs friends about that. Hey, Dog. Remember Ain't She Sweet? Well, I've read... Hey, what happened to your orchids?
Nothing. I ate 'em already.
You mean you ate all them expensive orchids?
Ma, you should have spoke for one. They wasn't very filling.
Ain't she sweet? From her head down to her feet. And that's a long way, but I ask you very confidentially, ain't that baby sweet? Ain't she large? But she gives me such a charge. I ask you very confidentially, ain't that baby large? She stretches out in all directions. I'm here to shout, Lordy, that's perfection. Are you with me? Ain't she keen? Well, that's the most I've ever seen. And I'm here to tell you I'm her ding-dong daddy, and she's my queen. And she is king-size, my Jethro. Lots of mama, my Jethro. She carries me away.
Put him down!
So your sister Jethro has got herself a steady fella now. He says he is going to ask for her hand someday. I hope he will take the rest of her, too. Ha ha. Give my love to all and be a good boy. I am going out now to mail this letter and get some more feathers for my hat. As ever, your loving mother. Gee, sure nice to hear from Ma.
Nice letter, nice hearing.
Jethro, you and me's got to go right out and find a school and get you to going. Granny, you pack up a nice lunch for Jethro to tote along.
How about a big mess of poke greens and chitlins with some pole and a big pot of sorghum to dip it in?
Fine.
Oh, Granny, it don't have to be that fancy. Some of the other boys here in Beverly Hills might not have it so good. They go to complaining to their folks.
Let them complain. It ain't gonna hurt none to raise their standard a little.
I'll get the truck, Uncle Jed.
Paul, please let me go with Jethro. I can help him fight if the big kids in the 5th grade goes to picking on him.
I know for sure that Miss Hathaway has got other plans for your schooling.
But with Jethro gone, I won't have nobody to play with.
Oh, yes, she will. I just remembered something. Mr. Drysdale's stepson is coming home for Thanksgiving. And he's going to be living right next door. And you can play with him. Mr. Drysdale gave me some pictures of him. Here's some pictures of Sonny. That's what they call him, Sonny. He's been going to a lot of schools, and you ought to know some real good games to play. Ain't he something?
Yeah, but what?
Why, he's a boy.
Sure?
Sorry, Ellie, just because he's wearing... Well, there's Jethro. Now, you keep thinking about how much fun you're going to be having with him right next door. You know, he does kind of favor that movie actor, Rudolph Valentino.
Here's Jethro's lunch. I didn't have time to fix much, but it'll hold him till he gets home from school. I got a little surprise in there. I've been saving it for a special day, and I reckon this is it.
What is it, Granny?
Deviled hawk eggs.
Doggies. Makes me wish I was going to school.
School, all right. Millicent, Schuyler, and Potts. I reckon them 3 is the teachers.
3 teachers? Must be awful big school.
I'll say.
Well, let's go in there and get you started.
What?
if you can.
Diana, someone has parked a most disreputable-looking vehicle outside my window.
Perhaps it was these gentlemen.
Oh? Yes? What is it you wish?
Well, I'd like to get my nephew started into school.
Here?
Yeah, here's all right if you got room for a desk and his lunch basket.
My dear man, this is a most exclusive private school. The tuition is quite expensive. Well beyond your means, I'm sure.
Does that mean it costs a lot of money?
That is precisely what it means.
Well, I can pay you if it ain't over 25 million.
25 million?
Yes, ma'am, that's all I got.
Dollars?
Yes, ma'am.
In cash?
Yes, ma'am.
This is obviously a practical joke perpetrated by one of my envious competitors. What is your name?
Jed Clampett, ma'am, and this here's...
And you expect me to believe that you have $25 million?
Well, no, not on me, ma'am, but my neighbor, Mr. Drysdale, he's keeping it in his bank for me.
Get me Melbourne Drysdale at the Commerce Bank. You see, it just so happens that Mr. Drysdale holds the mortgage on this school, so we are very well acquainted.
Hello. I'd like to speak to Mr.
Now,
Melbourne Drysdale.
if you wish to admit that this is a hoax and be on your way, we will forget the entire incident. Otherwise, you may be liable to some sort of action for invasion of private property and impersonating a millionaire.
Mr. Drysdale is coming on the line now.
Thank you. This is your last chance, Mr. Clampett. My next call will be to the police. Very well. Mr. Drysdale, Millicent Schuyler Potts here. Come in, come in, come in, come in.
Thank you, ma'am.
Diana, tea for these gentlemen. Crumpet?
Oh, no, ma'am, Clampett.
Tea, Diana. Use the spode, he said. Well, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down.
Just the two of us. Elly May and Granny didn't come.
Well, do make yourselves comfortable. Mr. Drysdale's exact words to me were, well, never mind his exact words. Apparently he values your friendship greatly, and Mr. Drysdale is a very important mortgage. Ma'am. Well, now then, shall we talk about your youngster who's entering our 5th grade? What is his name?
Jethro Bodine.
Bodine? Jethro.
No, ma'am. Jethro Bodine.
We always put the last name first. Now, male, of course.
Yes, ma'am. Just got a letter this morning.
Date of birth?
December the 4th.
Year?
No, ma'am. Back home. We only been here a few weeks.
Perhaps you should answer the questions for our vital statistics. Now, we need to know the complete birth date, which in turn gives us the exact age. Now, we have December 4th, and judging from the fact that your nephew is entering the 5th grade, I would surmise that the year is 51 or 52. Am I correct?
Oh, Jethro ain't near that old.
And in the 5th grade? Why, that's wonderful. Well, perhaps we have a budding genius on our hands. Archie! How poor. Oh, Diana, I'd like you to bring me one of our boys' uniforms to show these gentlemen. A 5th grade size. No, on second thought, you'd better make it 3rd grade. He's younger than average. Mrs. Parker. We require that all of our students wear identical uniforms. It makes for less friction that way. Otherwise, the boys of millionaires are apt to be taunted by the really rich.
I bet you Jethro will look right good in a uniform. He can't wait to be a soldier.
Yes, many a young lad is like that. However, our uniforms do not reflect any militaristic design. No, rather, we strive for something gay, attractive, and smart. Oh, there you are. Charming, isn't it? Now, you take this home and have Jethro wear it when he comes to school in the morning.
Wear this? I'm afraid Granny will have to make considerable changes in this before it'll fit Jethro.
So tiny?
Now,
And in the 5th grade? Why, the boy must be a genius. Well, you may be very sure that we will bring him out.
Where is this, you bust out?
Now then, how do you gentlemen like your tea?
We don't know, ma'am. We ain't tasted it yet.
Oh, you are the fun-loving one, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Granny, here's Jethro's school clothes. You want me to help let him out?
Oh, well, thank you, Ellie, but let's see what has to be done. Maybe they fit him already. That's supposed to be a hat?
I reckon so.
What's that?
Well, Jethro said it stands for POTS.
Pots?
That's the school he's going to. Pot school.
Hell, he'll be learning a good trade. If there's something folks always needs, it's pots.
Jethro can make you some dandy new ones once he catches on to it.
And Sam Hill is supposed to wear that.
Well, Jethro, I reckon.
Jethro couldn't have wore that at 3.
Paul said it'd take some letting out.
Letting out? There ain't enough seams in the whole world to let that out.
How's it going, Granny? Are you getting my uniform already?
Jethro Bodine?
No, Granny. Over to school, it's Bodine Jethro.
Elly May, leave the room. You got no shame running around here in your underpants?
Granny, these ain't underpants. They swimming trunks.
You wrap that towel around you before I cut a switch.
But, Granny, Miss Hathaway says...
I don't care who says what. I'll be glad when your ma gets out here to take you in hand and to make you some school clothes. These things ain't never gonna fit.
But, Granny, I gotta have these in the morning. It's a rule. All us kids over there's gotta wear these. And that coat, too.
Yeah. I sure wish your ma was here with her sewing machine. Pearl's a whiz at making clothes.
Now that you're gonna be keeping company with Jazz Beau Depew, you're gonna need some nice clothes.
I like the little fella, Ma.
I'm glad, Jethro.
But you gotta stop picking him up all the time.
He ain't heavy.
That ain't the point. It don't look fitting for a girl to run around carrying a fella.
All right. I won't pick him up anymore. Till we get married.
Why would you pick him up then?
To carry him over the threshold.
You ain't supposed to carry him. He's supposed to carry... No, that's ridiculous. I declare, I don't know how I'm going to keep you in clothes the way you're shooting up. I start a new outfit, and by the time I get it stitched together, you've outgrown it.
My new shoes is already too tight for my feet.
Oh, them feet. If they get any bigger, you're going to have to go outside to turn around.
My feet ain't as big as Jethro's.
Well, of course not. He's a boy. Just think, your brother Jethro's going to school in Beverly Hills, California.
Yeah. I'm homesick for to see him, Ma.
Me too, Jethro. I'll bet your rich Uncle Jed has Jethro duded up like one of them actors in movie pictures.
I can't understand these Beverly Hills schools. Wearing that uniform ain't gonna make you no smarter.
Miss Potts said I had to wear it this morning. She's the boss teacher.
If Jethro ain't right. Every time that music plays, somebody comes to the door.
Good morning. Surprise, surprise.
Good morning, Miss Potts.
I decided to come by and drive our diminutive genius to school myself.
What?
Your nephew, Jethro.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Jethro! Come on down here. You got to ride to school. Well, that's mighty nice of you, ma'am.
Oh, tut. I'm going to give the boy my personal special attention. I feel that when one...
Well, howdy there, Miss Potts. You come to take me to school?
You betcha she is. Now, I want you to be a good boy and make good marks so your ma will be proud of you.
This is your nephew?
Yes, ma'am. You met him yesterday, remember? Of course, he does look a mite different in his uniform. Granny had a time getting it to fit, but she done it.
You are in the 5th grade?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Just finished 3 years in the 4th.
But I can't. It's impossible.
Oh, that ain't nothing. He got through the 1st grade in only 2 years.
Under no circumstances can I allow this.
Well, say, here comes Mr. Drysdale. I reckon he's coming to see Jethro off to school.
Come along, Jethro. Get the tape off. This is the way we go to school. This is the way we go to school.
Here's Jethro's lunch.
Oh, Jethro! You forgot your lunch. Now, Jethro, you share your grits and fat back with Miss Potts today.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set a spell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. Here. Come and listen to my story about a man named Jed. A poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. And then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling crude oil, that is, black gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The kinfolks said, Jed, move away from there. Said, California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is, swimming pools, movie stars.
The Beverly Hillbillies.
Child. If the Lord had wanted me to swim around in water, he'd have given me fins.
Yeah, you sure are gussed up. Where you going?
I'm going shopping for our Thanksgiving victuals. I hear your beau's coming to eat with us.
I ain't got no beau.
Your pa says so. Mr. Drysdale's stepson. You know, the one they call Sonny.
Shucks, I ain't never even seen him.
Well, your pa tells it. He's coming to court you and spark you.
What does that mean?
You don't know what courting and sparking is?
No.
No, I guess you wouldn't at that. Well, when I get back, you and me better have a little talk.
Have you ever been courted and sparked, Granny?
Honey? When I was a girl back in Tennessee, I set so many boys' hearts on fire that they took to calling that neck of the woods the Smoky Mountains.
Well, see you later.
Daisy, you old heartbreaker. You still got it.
That's the truth. Who you stepping out with?
Ain't stepping out with nobody. I'm going to the supermarket.
What's a supermarket?
I don't know. I reckon it's kind of like a general store. But that's where you have to go to buy your victuals out here. And there's some things I need for that Thanksgiving spread.
Oh, say, speaking of Thanksgiving, we can use the big fancy eating table. I just finished notching the last pot passer.
You think they'll reach?
Yeah, I don't know. Let's give him a try.
Jethro!
Yeah, Granny? You all set to get took to the supermarket?
No, not yet. Fetch me a pot to the fancy eating room.
Yes, sir.
That sure is a mighty fine eating table.
Jethro's fetching a pot.
Granny, you gotta admit, folks built this table sure knowed what they was doing. It is built solid.
It is that. You could set a half-dozen turkey gobblers on there and never sag it a bit.
This here is a dandy idea, especially if you got young ones at the table. The plates won't slip off on the floor.
Yeah, I've sure scrubbed up a mess of pone and sorghum.
Bet nobody ever scrubbed up none from this floor.
There's been plenty spilled on the table, though.
Sorghum?
Something sticky. I can't get that green tablecloth off there. Save me.
It's stuck on me.
I can't imagine anybody to lay a clean tablecloth on a sticky table.
Yeah, Granny, I reckon all women ain't as spick-and-span as you are when it comes to keeping house.
Here you are, Granny.
Set it in the middle of the table so we'll see if these pot passers reach.
Yeah, I reckon that'll do the trick, all right.
Jed, maybe you better whittle some sharp points on a few of them, and we can spear the meat and pass it.
Good idea, Granny. I'll do that.
How do you reckon the folks that lived here before us passed things?
Well, they probably had a big family and passed from hand to hand. That reminds me, we're having 5 for our Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah, you already told me.
Company coming?
Extra special company. Elly's bow.
Has Elly got a bow?
She sure has.
Mr. Drysdale's stepboy, Sonny.
Him and Elly ain't never seen each other yet. Sonny and his ma just come in from Boston. But Mr. Drysdale says his boy will be just happy to come a-courting Elly.
I won't. I have never submitted to a blind date before, and I refuse to do it now.
Sonny, dear, do it justice once for your daddy.
He's not my daddy. He's your husband.
All right, then. Do it for stepdaddy. It seems to mean a great deal to him.
Mother, I'm the most popular man on the campuses of 3 universities. Vassar, Wellesley, and Smith. To those girls, I'm an idol, to be worshipped. I can't just date anyone.
Sonny, dear, it might be fun to date someone new. Someone young, and lovely, and charming.
For her, yes. But how do I know what she'll look like? No, I can't. I can't. It might cause too much of a trauma, Mama.
But your stepdaddy says she's very attractive. And it seems that she's the daughter of his wealthiest depositor, whom he wishes very much to please.
Mother, what kind of a man have you married? He's selling me for a rich man's gold. It's sordid! Oh, it is sordid! It is sordid!
No, my precious baby. I know it was wrong of me to marry a common bank president, but I wanted you to have everything, and all I could give you was the heritage of a fine old family. But it takes money, too, darling.
Money, I hate that word. Makes the rich the social equal of us.
Oh, no, dear. It could never do that.
I wish you'd read the thesis I wrote on economics last week. Money and why it is not important.
You know, for a boy who's been going to college for 17 years, you haven't learned much.
Milburn, you must not throw it up to Sonny that he keeps going to college. He's trying to find himself.
Don't take my advice. Don't look. Come on, dear. Let Sonny get dressed for his date.
I'll draw him a nice hot bath.
Try not to drown.
Daddy? Just a moment, Daddy.
You called me Daddy. You've never done that before. Well, don't ever do it again.
I refuse to date a strange girl just to benefit your economic situation.
Well, I've got news for you, Sonny. My economic situation and your economic situation have a very definite relationship.
Money doesn't interest me. Who steals my purse steals trash.
Well, you will have a date with Elly May Clampett, and you'll be nice to her, or I'll cut off every penny of your trash.
Wilbur, did I hear you say that it's the Clampett girl you're asking Sonny to date?
That's right.
But, my dear, I haven't finished the genealogical check of their family tree. We don't know that Elly May is socially acceptable for Sonny.
Good heavens. Now, you listen to me, Sonny. Jed Clampett is thrilled at the prospect of his daughter having a date with you. A city boy, educated, refined. To him, you're a knight in shining armor, a handsome Prince Charming. He thinks you're the greatest thing that could ever happen to his daughter.
Mr. Clampett sounds like a very intelligent man.
No, dear. I've heard the most disturbing reports about the Clampetts. I understand they're no better than peasants.
Good heavens, a date with a girl like that is unthinkable.
Now, Margaret, I hesitate to assert my authority. But unless I have assurance that my wishes will be carried out, I'm afraid I will have to...
Mother! Dad! Who is that? Who is she?
Who is what, dear?
That divine creature by the pool next door.
That's the Clampett girl, Elly May.
Oh, Dad, you're sensational. Of course I'll date her.
Good boy.
But, Sonny, she's not a blue blood.
The color may not be right, Mother, but I sure dig that crazy container. Wow!
Granny, you wearing perfume?
Pure vanilla extract.
You rascal. You're gonna have that storekeeper's head just a spinning.
That's the idea. Just because I got plenty of money don't mean I have to spend it all.
Howdy, Paul. What you doing?
Oh, I'm fixing some turkey stickers for a company meal. Oh, say, Ellie,
Yeah, Paul?
is there anything you don't know about the birds and the bees?
No. How come you to ask?
Well, I reckon these what Sonny Drysdale's been studying at school. Either that or he's partial to them.
How'd you know?
Well, when I mentioned to Miss Hathaway that you was going to be keeping company with Sonny Drysdale, she says, Mr. Clampett, she says, you better have a talk with your daughter about the birds and the bees.
Shucks, I know all about the little critters.
Well, that's how I figured you being raised in the woods and all. But I didn't let on to Miss Hathaway. I know she's just trying to be helpful.
Granny says she's going to have a talk with me about courting and sparking.
She is. Well, I'm glad of that, Ellie. I was kind of wondering who was going to do that.
Paul, why don't you tell me about courting and sparking?
Well, Ellie, that's something that a girl's ma usually tells her about.
Well, I ain't got no ma, so why don't you tell me?
Well, Granny will do it when she comes back.
Well, what if she don't get back before Sonny Drysdale comes? Then I won't know how to court and spark him.
You ain't supposed to court and spark him. That's what a feller does to a girl.
How? What does he do?
Well, he gets himself all slicked up, shaves real close, shines his shoes, puts on a stiff collar and a clean shirt. And he goes to calling on the girl, toting a nice big store-bought box of candy.
Hot diggity dog, I'm gonna like courting and sparking.
It's only the courting part. I ain't got to the sparking yet.
What's that like, Paul?
Well, she invites him to come in the parlor and sit. And they usually sit on a sofa or something, him on one end, her on the other. Yeah? Well, then he goes to carefully, little at a time, scooching down to where he's within reaching distance of the girl.
Sonny Drysdale gonna do that to me?
He might. And when he does, that's when a girl has got to be careful.
Don't you worry, Paul. If that rascal goes to reaching for my candy, I'll knock him clean off of that sofa.
Oh, Sonny, you sea beast. You creature from the Blue Lagoon.
Now, my dear, don't you fling yourself overboard, because I'm not worth it.
No, don't. My dear, my...
Oh, well, there were too many girls aboard anyway. We were beginning to list.
Sonny, are you decent?
Not me. The devil. Come in.
Sonny, you're beautiful.
Mother! Girls are beautiful. Boys are handsome. Dashing. Debonair. You're right. I'm beautiful.
Well, I just spoke to Jed Clampett. He's expecting you to call this afternoon. Maybe take Elly May for a drive. And tomorrow, they're expecting you for Thanksgiving dinner.
2 days? Gee, stepdad, no girl has ever been exposed to me for 2 consecutive days. What? Well, it may be unleashing forces too powerful to control.
Yes, what if the Clampett girl gets serious about Sonny?
Well, we'll celebrate with the finest champagne money can buy.
Oh, no, my baby's not ready for marriage.
Margaret, he's 35 years old.
I am not. I was a leap year baby.
Now, I've had enough of this nonsense. Now, you climb into that expensive sports car I bought you and go calling on that girl, or so help me out.
Milburn, please. Sonny has never been exposed to violence. Even when he was born, I gave the doctor strict orders that he was not to be spanked.
But it's not too late to start. Now, are you going or aren't?
I'm going. I am going.
You want me to go along?
No, my dear.
More meat, Mr. Sonny? Why, no trouble at all.
There you are. Whack off as much as you want.
Jed, he's back from the supermarket.
What darnation is that?
That is what you call a shopping cart. There's a sign down at the supermarket that says take one. So Granny did.
But there's Indian givers. They wanted me to give it back when we were leaving.
She didn't do it. Did you, Granny?
You're darn tootin'. Oh, they sweet as honey when you first come in. But they give you a heap of trouble when you start to leave.
What kind of trouble, Granny?
Well, first you stand in a line with a kind of a gate. And at that gate, there's a woman. She looks at what you've got. Then she starts to push a lot of little knobs. And bells start to ring. And a drawer pops open with a lot of money in it.
Doggy.
Then she tells you how much money to give her. She says to me, that'll be $28.25. And I says, now you make up your mind. Is it 28 or is it 25? And she says to me, that's 28.25. Well, I seen I wasn't getting no place with her. So I give her the benefit of the doubt and I plunked down 28. A quarter and 3 pennies.
I reckon that pleased her.
You'd have thought so, but not her. As I started through the gate, she says, hold on. Madam, you're short. I said, maybe so, but I'm big enough to take you on.
Granny was getting right mad.
Well, you'd have got mad too, Jeff. And you get after Elly about running around in boys' pants. You should see those women in that supermarket.
He was wearing boys' pants, was he?
Some of them were in their underpants. Actually, I wanted to get Jethro out of there.
Actually.
And I did, too. By dingy, they didn't stop us.
Good for you, Granny.
Does that weird-looking vehicle belong to you?
No, sir.
Can you move it?
I reckon so.
Please do. It completely spoils the effect of my imported 190.
What should I do with it?
Oh, I don't care. Just get it out of sight. Hide it somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Sonny Drysdale to see Miss Clampett.
Oh, come in, come in.
What you doing, Jethro?
Trying to find out how to drive this thing.
What for? Whose is it?
Sonny Drysdale. He asked me to get it out of sight for him.
All right. Just trying to surprise Elly. Where do you say put it?
Well, he just said hide it somewheres.
Yeah, let's accommodate him. You take the front end, I'll take the back. We'll put it back of them bushes yonder.
Okay.
Is he towing a box of candy, Granny? He sure is, honey. All tied up with ribbon. Oh, Elly. Child, you are just beautiful. Shall I sprinkle some vanilla extract on you? Becca? No, I better not. Sometimes that drives them wild. Elly, I didn't get to talk to you about courting and sparking. Oh, that's all right, Granny. Pa told me. Oh, all right, now you follow me. Don't be nervous. Here she is, Mr. Drysdale.
Thank you. You're beautiful. Divine.
Never mind me. Say something nice to her.
Hold it just a moment. What a vision you are. What a picture you make. From your golden hair down to your...
Is that for me?
Yes, it is.
Bet y'all can guess what it is.
Try.
It's something sweet.
Exquisitely sweet.
Something yummy.
The yummiest.
Something all girls like.
You guessed it, it's me. You can sleep with it under your pillow.
You want to come into the parlor?
What are we going to do in there?
Talk about the birds and the bees.
Well, Scooby do. You peasant girls don't beat around the bush. Miss Clampett, my lips long to taste your lovely hand.
Hey, why did you throw him?
That rascal was fixing to bite me.
Move, stick to him.
My car, where is it? Oh, it did good, ain't it? Ain't nobody can find where we put it.
Big oaf, I'll destroy you.
Oh, Mother! Mother! Who was that? Sonny Drysdale. Mother! Mumsy!
He's a mean critter, Jed.
Yeah, Pa, he bites.
I did him a favor, and he commenced to hitting me.
I claim us Clampetts have been insulted by the Drysdales. Let's go feud them.
Now.
Why, we could whoop them with one hand tied behind us.
We ain't got no cause to whoop 'em, Granny.
No cause. Why, just yesterday I went over there to the Drysdales to borrow a cup of possum fat. And that butler fella that lives over there, he says to me, you wouldn't pull my leg, would you? And I said, well, one good turn deserves another. Stick it up here and I'll give it a yank. And do you know that he slammed the door right in my face? Let's go.
Now, hold on. Now, we're all going to calm down. Go next door, talk to Mr. Drysdale. We'll straighten this whole thing out. Come on.
There. Mother's baby is going to be all right. Was it just a dreadful experience, darling?
Dreadful.
Margaret, Sonny, Clampetts are here.
They followed me.
Come in.
Where's Sonny?
Here I am.
Well, we've straightened out the misunderstanding, and now these people have something they want to say.
Well, Sonny, I reckon this is all my fault. I'm sorry I wasn't to the door like a proper paw had ought to been.
I'm sorry I throwed you, Sonny. And I sure do thank you for that nice picture you give me.
And I'm sorry you hurt your hand hitting me, Sonny.
And me and Jethro was sorry that we hid the automobile. We towed it back over and set it down in front of your house.
Well, I can't think of nothing I'm sorry for. But we sure would be proud to have you all come and take Thanksgiving victuals with us.
Sonny and I wouldn't think
of passing up an invitation like that. We'll be there, all of us.
Let us say grace. We sure have got a lot to be thankful for, Lord. We got good health, good neighbors, good food. Jethro's going to school. Elly's got a feller. I guess everything is just about fine, and we sure do thank you. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Well, Jethro, hand out the pot passers and the meat stabbers. Let's get at it.
Debbie's on drumstick.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you folks for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of their hospitality. Hillbilly, that is. Set us bell. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now, dear.